welcome everyone to another session of Crituitous Roleplay. Previously, you had entered the city of Bryn Shander. Your purpose there was to investigate the individuals, the Gith, that Gideon had been chasing. You wanted to go there to not only find those individuals, but also see the state of the city. Knowing that it was recently attacked by a series of frost giants, you wanted to kind of get a situational report of the area of 10 towns in particular. Upon arriving at Bryn Shander, you discovered that the city had been attacked by frost giants and then shortly thereafter visited by some Gith. Those Gith were causing havoc, killing and just hurting a lot of people. You, like the valiant heroes you are, charged straight into the Gith cave in the middle of the night, and you did slay all of the evil Gith. In the battle, however, Owen did fall and did die, but was quickly revived by Lael and her magical abilities. We ended the session with you all leaving the cave. Owen and Taman had just returned a small child to the sheriff, and you were all making your various ways back into the city, and some of you towards the ship that is waiting for you outside Bryn Shander. What are you guys doing?
Owen's just finished setting up Lael's little camp with Randall. I assume they've been dicing a little bit or something, and Owen's now just sort of sat by himself on a nearby sort of log or something, just kind of whittling a piece of wood and staring out into the night sky.
Anyone else doing anything in particular, or are you just going to go bed down? Loic?
Before I bed down, I was going to unattune myself to my Necklace of Adaptation and swap it for the Necklace of Non-Detection that Aaron gave me.
Gideon's just going to be hanging out in the cave until people arrive that are going to deal with these bodies and that. He's going to lay the Githyanki together, but he's going to do them separately. And he's going to make a point of taking that brain that he was given and putting it back into the appropriate Githyanki.
Okay, fair enough. So, Gideon, you guys fought and killed the Gith I'd say about 11 o'clock at night, approximately. Late, early on in the night. It's going to be a good 10 hours before anyone comes to start dealing with it, and you have not slept yet. Are you going to stay up, or are you going to sleep there?
I don't think he's in a frame of mind for sleeping. If anything, he'll spend the night in prayer, just trying to make peace with what's gone off.
Okay. In which case, you will gain a level of exhaustion by staying up all night.
That's fine.
So, in the morning, Gideon, you see the sheriff, Duvessa Shane. She and a couple of her guards or volunteers do make their way up to the cave. They see you standing guard over in prayerful mourning. The sheriff approaches you, and she has this look of horror over her face when she sees all of the bodies laid out. And then she sees all of the Gith bodies as well. They're also lined up, and she looks confused, puzzled. What are you doing here, sir?
Consoling the dead, child.
Okay. Well, we're going to deal with the bodies of the city folk. I don't think it's going to help anything if the bodies of these criminals are also nearby.
If you can bring me wood and fire, I intend to burn them.
Okay. She gets a couple of her people to go out to the woods, cut down a couple trees, get enough for you to be able to build a basic pyre. It'll take you about an hour or so to build a pyre big enough for the 6 of them.
Okay.
All right.
He'll also want to ask, these who are dead, do you know them? Could you identify their names?
Yes. I could. I've known these people for a very long time, grown up with them.
I would like to know who they are, who they were.
you give me some time. If you wish to know their names, I can write a list of their names, but to tell you anything about who they really were, that would take a lifetime.
I understand. Their names will suffice. But I must warn you that we believe there are others they have killed this night.
Okay.
You may find more in the city itself.
I've already found the little girl's family.
They do not live, do they?
No. The little girl will be taken care of. She does have family in the city that will watch over her. And the bodies of her family have been buried appropriately.
I would like to visit their graves, and again, their names would mean much to me. And if possible, I would like to speak to the child.
I don't think she will want to talk to anyone right now. She's in a bit of a shock at the whole situation.
I understand, but whatever comfort I can offer, I cannot leave without attempting.
Okay. When we are finished with this, and we have dealt with the bodies of this family, these people, you will see where the family have been buried as well, and I'll take you to the girl.
Lady's blessings upon you, child.
It takes a good couple hours for them to deal with the bodies, and so by the time you finally get it all done, Gideon, and get to the young girl, it's going to be early afternoon, midday. Okay? What is everyone else been doing during the morning? Lael.
In the morning, when Lael wakes up, she will have the intention to go into town and see the sheriff. And she'll be bringing Helen and Randall with her, and the chest with the jewelry trinkets.
Okay.
I'm gonna
We'll find word that the sheriff will be at the cave.
Well, I'm gonna wait.
Can I just say, when Lael comes out of the tent, Owen's actually going to approach her as she sort of steps out into the dawn. It's quite obvious he's actually slept nearby, just on a bedroll out in the wild. He's not far from the spot where he'd spent most of the night, just sort of staring into nothing. But when he sees Lael, he's just gonna call out, "Hey."
Morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, good morning. Did you sleep well?
Perfectly fine.
He sort of looks uncomfortable. Look, what you did, I'm grateful, okay?
Gratitude isn't necessary.
I never felt anything like it. I actually died out there. What we hear about the drow, what we're taught, you're nothing like that.
Judge me by my deeds and not my words. Or any other words said by anyone else. That isn't me.
He just sort of nods slowly. So, we're going to Luskan. Is that right?
I do believe that is the next port of call.
They say that drow have attacked the place.
Yes,
Are
I
you-
heard it.
Well, how do you feel about that? I mean, killing your own people and all that.
I've killed many of my own people, boy.
Yeah, I suppose you have. It's a lot to take in, you know?
I have quite a few years on you. And after a while, death doesn't seem so bad. There is only one true fact of life, and that is, you live, and then one day you will die. And it is an inevitability for most of us.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I've got things on it to do, you know?
Well,
I can't die right. I can't die now. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say.
She reaches out and she pats him on the shoulder and says, "Yesterday wasn't your day to die."
How did you learn all that?
That is a complicated story that I'm not even sure of myself. But they come to me in prayer as songs. And that is all I can tell you. Sometimes the songs change as I grow stronger.
He sort of smiles subtly at that and looks into her eyes and just says, "That's quite nice, you know."
I guess it is. I have not paid much thought to it.
Have you seen any of the others?
I believe they're all on the ship.
Loic is like behind you, standing like 30 feet behind you. He's just been lurking this entire time.
I didn't see Gideon come back. Has he been at the cave all this time?
More than likely. Do you wish to go find him?
I suppose we'd better. Somebody's going to have to bring him back.
Well, I need to run an errand in town first, so we are more than likely to find him there. And if not, we'll head to the cave.
All right, I'll come with you. I don't think it makes much sense splitting up.
Okay. Before that, Loic, you had mentioned you started to say something. Are you doing anything in particular? Or are you just joining them?
I'm just joining them.
And Taman?
I will approach the gathering group and say, "Good morning, everyone. We delivered the child to the sheriff. I'm sure Owen already mentioned that to you, so she's safe and sound. I just wanted to report back one more thing regarding the giant attack that she shared with me last night, and that was they were looking for an artifact called the Winter Ring, and she says that the fellow who reportedly had it last, artist Simba, she doesn't think that he lived here. Maybe it would be worth our while to investigate within the city to see if there are any rumors of if he lived here at some point, if he has descendants or anything like that who...
I agree. If we can find any gnomes or elves that are particularly wizened beyond their years, they might have actually still been around when stuff was happening. The sheriff has actually mentioned this briefly, not in that much detail, but whenever we first encountered her, back when we were all split up. So I have since sent out a sending spell to Harshnag, and he's going to check the oracle on the location of the Ring of Winter and who Artis Cimber is. And we should have the results of that by later tonight. I'm going to give him a day.
Alrighty. Well then, it looks like you guys are gearing up to go. Are you heading into the city?
Yes, I have an errand that I want to run.
I am with you guys. Let's go to the city. Has anyone seen Owen? Or has anyone seen Gideon?
We think he's still at the cave.
Oh, okay.
Back in my home village, we had quite a few different types come through. One of them was quite a nice fella, and it was a few years ago, and he told me a lot of stories about thieves and such, and highwaymen and bandits. Well, he taught me a few things. He said there's a special kind of code that they use to talk to one another. It's hard to explain. I didn't catch much of it, but he taught me the basics. I think I can ask around. I think maybe some of the more shady types might be able to help us.
And so then I point at Layla and say, she's standing right here. As a play on shady and dark.
And then she goes, shouldn't you be pointing there? And she points at Loic.
He's very unenthused. He's just like, when are we going to go?
No, look, I didn't mean anything like that. I mean, Owen just sort of looks down a little bit embarrassed.
Come along.
All right, we'll gather information in the city.
Yes, sounds like a plan.
And I'm sure Aaron is all on board with this.
Okay.
Yeah, so Aaron and Gamel, feeling a little under the weather, are staying on the ship for now.
Okay.
You can hear loud snoring coming from Aaron's cabin.
There it is.
Hey!
You got to actually do the snore.
Probably
Wow.
Bit more
sounds
like
like
a
a bear. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. So you all head into the town to do various things. You're just simply looking for the sheriff, right? Or is there more that you're doing?
Owen's going to head to sort of a CD tavern. In fact, actually, first before he sort of splits up a little bit, he's actually going to turn to Taman and he says, "Would you mind an awful lot coming with me? It's just that, I don't really trust the kind of people that I'm going to be speaking to. You're pretty handy in a fight. Not that I think we'll be doing any fighting, but."
You flatter me, sir, but if you're going to be dealing with the shadier folk, do you think they'll be as forthcoming with you if one such as I am standing before you?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's the first time I've ever tried it.
All right,
You could
well, let's
always-
give it a shot. What do we have to lose?
Maybe you can, I don't know, just go and sit in a corner
I know.
if you want.
I'll take my hood down and put my hair out, and I'll look seedy as heck. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. You look shady. I'll try my best not to, talk like I'm talking.
As Taman takes off his hood and reveals his hair, she gasps and points to the grey bit. What is that?
This is my hair, lady. What? I don't understand why you're aghast by my hair, my lustrous locks.
And she actually reaches out and runs her fingers. Why is one half dark and the other half grey?
Yours is all grey.
I know mine is grey, but Taman isn't a drow.
More of a silver.
That's what hair kind of does when people get old. Well, at least humans.
Your hair goes grey when you get old.
Yeah, I mean, some people sooner than others.
Are you
I forget-
old, Taman?
In my 40s. So that's for humans. That's
Wow,
I
that
guess
is
that's middle
old.
age. Oh, and I shake my fist at Owen.
And they're all just huh.
Owen. No, sorry.
No, sorry.
You're looking for a seedy tavern?
Yes. It's the kind of place where ruffians and scoundrels, scum and villainy, a hive of such.
Walking around the town, looking at the situation. You look over the town. This is a place that it may have at one point had a seedy tavern. However, as the city was nigh on just completely destroyed, and after the recent string of murders, you find there isn't much place for any seedy activity in town at the moment. Everyone seems to be banding together like a good, happy family right now, trying to keep spirits up and work together. So, after a little bit of searching, you'll find that there is no seedy part of town right now.
Are we really in a city?
Did me and Lael also go along with this?
That's up to you guys whether or not you followed him. I think Lael was quite intent on finding the sheriff.
Okay, I'll go with you guys then, because if y'all are going past a tavern, I'd like to stop at the tavern and actually buy something.
Okay. You'll find a tavern, and it's the same tavern that you visited the night before, but it's in no way seedy or dirty.
I'm after a bottle of vodka.
Dragonfire brandy.
The clear stuff.
And they will sell you a bottle of the clear stuff for 5 silver.
Done.
Lael, you are hunting for the sheriff. Is anyone doing anything else on the way to the sheriff?
I also wanted to buy a winter cloak since I no longer have any kind of cover
Winter
from the
clothing?
elements.
All right. So you're able to find someone that will, in the morning, they've got their wares out. You can easily get it on the way to the center of town. It's just a silver to get a nice winter coat in this particular area. Because it's always winter here, everyone needs one. Lael, you go to the center of town. You look for the sheriff. She's not there. You talk to a couple people to try to figure out what's going on. Why isn't she? Like, where is she? And they tell you that she had gathered a couple individuals and headed out to outside of the city, just north of the city. They give you a rough idea that it's probably the location that you guys had fought the Gith the night before. So you all kind of head up towards that direction and go. You find Duvessa Shane and a number of individuals all working to pull bodies as neatly as possible out of the cave and away from the area. It's taking them a long time to do that because the gravesite that they have set aside is quite a distance. It's almost purposefully made to be very far away from the cave.
Are there any city guards nearby, sort of keeping watch?
She has a couple individuals that look like they are of a military build and type. They're not in, like, armor. They're not in official guard clothing, but you look at them for a bit and you figure they probably have been military.
Like, sort of plainclothes bodyguard types?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just sort of, as they approach, he just sort of nods over to him and just said, would have been nice to have them on our side during that fight.
They might have died.
I did die.
And look, you're here before us again.
Yeah, and so would they have been. Still,
we don't know that for sure.
Still, you'd think that she might have sent some help with protecting her city.
No, they wouldn't have been. You were the only one I would have been able to bring back that night. That spell is incredibly taxing on my magical pool.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, I turn to the sheriff and I say, morning.
Oh, morning.
Don't you have any carts?
Carts are being used by the citizens within the city. We're carefully gathering the bodies and moving them by hand.
Very well. The creatures we found, it seems that they may have taken some possessions that may belong to the dead. So I wanted to return them. And she gestures to Randall, who's holding the chest. He brings it forward to offer it to her.
She doesn't look in the chest at all. Her eyes almost drop, and you see kind of a weight lifted off of her shoulders. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to the people. Every penny counts right now, and this will go a long way to helping them rebuild.
I thought that would be the case. So I have another gift for you. And then she kind of gives Kellen a nudge, who steps forward with quite a large purse.
Thank you, but we don't need... we appreciate it, but you guys can use it better than we could. Go help more people.
We will, but this is just a small gesture. And these people will have families. These people would have had people that depended on them. And I would like you to use this money to take care of them.
Thank you.
There's 1,000 gold in it.
Oh. She hefts this large pouch that you hand to her, because that's a large pouch of gold. Thank you. We've sent word to Kelvin's Cairn and to Gauntlgrim. Hopefully some aid will arrive soon.
Excellent. Hopefully this will tide you by until then.
Owen smiles at the exchange.
Unless there is anything else I can help you with, I'll let you carry on with your business.
You have all done wonderfully, and can I say you will always be welcome in Bryn Shander. When we have rebuilt, there will always be a place for you here.
Quick question.
Yes?
Lady ma'am, who is the oldest person that you know still alive in this city?
Oldest person?
That's semi-sane. Sane enough.
That'll be Delvin Ludwig. He's the local priest of Torm. You'll find him in what's left of the temple.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything I can... Why do you want an old man?
Looking for information that may have been buried a long time ago.
Okay.
I add, we're trying to get information about artists so as to figure out where the giants who attacked Bryn Shander may be targeting next.
Okay. Yeah, tell him that Duvessa sent you, and he'll make sure he has time for you.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Just, he has a tendency to fall asleep. So, you might need to give him a little bit of a nudge from time to time.
Is there Gideon around here?
Yes, the poor lad. Barely able to stand, but he's still in the cave. He's watching over all of the bodies as we carry them out.
Honestly, I think he would actually be helping move the bodies along in this, whatever this human chain is, and be doing his part.
Okay.
I'll go find him. Do you want me to bring him back to the airship?
Only when he's done with what he wants to do. There's no rush to get to Luskan.
I'll give him a hand then. He sort of looks to Duvessa and just says, Owen Blackthorn. That's my name. Just so you know who to welcome back to the town.
We'll remember you, Owen. Thank you.
He sort of nods once, and then he goes off in Gideon's direction.
Okay. Owen, to answer your question very quickly, the magma ring that you find in your inventory, it is one of the Uthgard barbarian burial relics that you are collecting. Okay, it does have magical properties if you wish to know what they are, but as far as you're aware, it's just one of those relics you need to collect.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay,
thanks.
So, you know now that there is an individual in the Temple of Torm who may be able to give you the information that you are looking for. What would you guys like to do? Just go straight there, or is there anything else?
I'm headed that way.
Okay.
Tag along. The dead are smelly.
Yeah, Owen's just going to separate and go to go see Gideon.
Okay. Gideon and Owen, you guys are going to be there with the bodies for a good couple hours more. Loic, and anyone that follows Loic, you head into the town, and it's not far after you get inside the walls that you're able to find what remains of the temple. The temple itself seems actually quite well structured. The only damage to it is the spire that was once at the entrance has fallen down in front of the building, so there's a bit of rubble scattered around the entryway, but all in all, the main chapel area of this temple is relatively unscathed. You step through these big open iron doors and you see a very small, hunched over male, long beard that he's almost stepping on, walking across the chapel, doing various bits of menial tasks within the temple.
What race?
Well, he is human, or at least from this distance he looks like a very small, frail old human.
Well, I'm gonna walk up to him and say, hello, my name is Loic. Perchance, are you Delvin?
Yes. Hello, I'm Delvin.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Duvessa sent us. We're looking for information, and you might be able to help us with your aged wisdom.
You've come to the right place. Torm has,
Give him a little...
Torm has the answers that you seek. How can I help you, little fella?
Well,
he's looking up at you when he says little fella.
Well, sir, have you ever heard of the name Artus Simber before?
Artus Simber. Maybe. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Well, let me tell you who I am and and why we're asking you. We're here in Bryn Shander looking at the devastation of the giant attacks. And we have received information that they were looking for this Artist Simba person who may or may not have had, once upon a time, a very powerful legendary artifact. We have been sent to try and acquire many of these kinds of artifacts before the giants can, so it's a little bit of a race.
You're looking for the Ring of Winter as well?
Very wise, sir.
Strange old tale. Strange old tale. Alas, I don't know much about artists myself. Shuffles a little bit, sits down in a pew and beckons you all over. However, I have a friend, or I had a friend. Sirac is his name.
Sirac?
Sirac. He was a friend, and he helped us here for a while. He told me once that his father was a man named Artus Simba, and that this ring gave him immortality.
Possible.
Sadly, when he found out the giants were after his father, he offered himself to the giants instead. They left with him. I don't know where they went, but they left with Sirac.
Do you know where Sirac hung out at?
He was a priest of Torm with me.
Okay.
So.
Did he leave any belongings or anything?
As a priest, we tend not to have many belongings.
Can I see his room?
Yes. And he hops up and starts shuffling towards. Takes him a while to get to the room, and eventually he starts fumbling with some keys to open the door. Clicks open. Here, this is his room. Sirac slept there, and he studied there. And you look inside this room, and it's a very plain, basic room. There is just a straw bed, and then next to it is a tiny little writing desk. On the writing desk is actually a piece of paper.
Well, let's read it.
You look over the paper. It's written in a very rushed handwriting, saying that he doesn't know where his father is, and he hopes that by my actions I can save the city some distress. If anyone wishes to find my father, I believe you can speak to the Roaring Horns in Waterdeep. Now, Loic, go ahead and roll me a history check. And the same with Lael and Taman, because Taman was present at the time as well. Alright. The three of you all remember quite clearly. Zelrone Roaringhorn was the interesting man who lost the chess game and gave you the Shield Guardian. So you recognize that name, and the fact that it's cropped up now is somewhat of something must be connected somewhere in your minds when you recognize that this individual knows Zelron, and that they have some ties to this Ring of Winter.
So this could be within the Harper's realm of influence.
Zelron, I believe, was Lord's Alliance. Let me double check.
No, the guy with the chess match was the Harper. I remember because I was like, hey, those are my people.
Yeah, it's
I
right.
stole from him.
The guy we stole, Alias.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So, yes, the Harpers may be involved somewhat, to some degree.
All right, so I'll share this information, and then I'm going to ask Delvon if I can keep this note for Sirac's safety.
Bring Sirac back. Kind of struggling without him, you see.
Seems like a good guy to take his father's place like that. Before we leave the room, I'm going to look around for any kind of hairs or skin flakes.
Make an investigation check.
And the CSI crime scene music.
No, I want to be Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints with the symphonic music and dancing around and stuff.
There are some hairs that you can find in there. Whether or not you could confirm that they are his, not sure. But you're able to find some hairs in the room.
Do they happen to be on his pillow or anything?
They're on
Obvious.
or around his bed.
Okay. I'm going to take one anyways and put it in a little bottle.
I asked Delvin if Sirac had any pets, like a cat or a dog or a rat or anything like that.
No. Sirac doesn't like pets.
What's wrong with them?
Just taking care of them takes too much time.
Alright. I suppose that's okay.
Busy priests. Is there anything else, young ones?
I would like to thank you very much for your service and your patience with us. And here are 30 silvers for your Torm donations.
Much obliged. Much obliged. Pockets it and begins to shuffle away. Alright, so you're all in the temple. Aaron, are you still on the ship, or have you come into the city to find your friends yet?
I'm still on the ship.
Okay,
I have no idea where they are. I'm not so sure of them.
fair enough.
I think me and Gamel are chatting Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Fair enough.
Catching up, having a beer in the forward hull, waiting for him to come back.
Anything else anyone wants to do? Anything in the town?
Um,
We'll move back to Owen and Gideon.
Yep. Owen's going to approach Gideon and he's just going to say, "You all right, mate? You've been here all night."
He sort of looks up from his work and gives you a soft smile that's not entirely reaches his eyes. I feel like I should be asking you that question, child.
And just shrugs and says, "I feel fine. You know, considering. A little better than you do."
He does smile at that, and although some of the swelling's gone down and he has bothered to set his broken nose, he is still covered in blood and everything. That's all just dried and caked to his uniform.
You look like you've been dragged through all the hells and back.
Well, the gift didn't take a liking to me, that's true.
He just sort of nods to his halberd, which I assume is lying nearby, or on his person, and he says, "Your stick's shiny now."
Yes. The lady has seen fit to bless me.
He sort of goes up to behind him and sort of starts helping carrying the bodies. "Who is that lady you keep talking about?"
Don't matter, child. She's one of the sovereign host of Eberron. Though, in this world, I suspect you would not know of her.
"I've never heard of her. What's she about?"
It is difficult to sum up in this short time, but she's the goddess of the sun, child. Or is often seen as such. She embodies honor and sacrifice, light, and she's a guardian of sorts. There was a time when we once walked amongst mortals far more than we do now, and in that time Dolaro was revered as a protector of sorts, and I'm afraid those days are gone.
Well, I think she's got a pretty good protector on this earth right now, for what it's worth.
A protector would not let 20 people die in this cave. More on Eberron and you, Owen. I'm sorry for what happened to you, but that I could have taken the blow myself.
It was my own fault. I should have at least stayed back. I should have known that if I couldn't hit him with a bow, then I wouldn't have had much chance with a sword. He just sort of glances at the scimitar at his hip, and he just says, "It was the first time I ever drew it. Didn't even manage to swing it."
Perhaps, and he sort of gives you a bit of an encouraging smile here, perhaps in time you will become a little more proficient. Perhaps I can aid you with this.
Oh,
I don't have to always fight with the halberd.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if there's anything you can teach me.
There may be a few things, but another time.
Till then, I better stick with my bow, though, eh?
You certainly seem exceedingly accurate, child, and you do not lack for boldness nor courage. You are to be commended for.
Well, I think I'll be even more commended if we get all this sorted out as quick as we can, eh?
Indeed. I wish to see the bodies interred. And the child who ran, did you go after her? I confess I was not completely aware when the battle ended.
Yeah, I managed to track her down. Me and Tamon, her name's Anna, if I remember right. I mean, I don't know where she is now. We took her back to the city and handed her over to the sheriff.
Is she well, child?
Yeah, she was fine. She got back all right, but, well...
It looks as if a bit of a weight's lifted off him at that. The sheriff tells me she is with family, though I fear her immediate family have suffered a fate similar to those here.
I know what that's like. Well, at least it won't happen to anyone else.
This is true. And there will be justice for those who put vengeance upon your father. We will find them.
He just sort of hesitates a bit as if struggling with something. He says, the drought, Lael, what do you make of her?
How do you mean?
I don't know, she saved my life. Just now she handed over a huge bag of gold to the sheriff. It was massive. I've never seen anything that generous from human, elf, nobody. Now it's a drow who's doing it.
And it surprises you because she's a drow?
Well, yeah. I can't explain any better than I already have done, but I don't know. If we go to that place, Luskan, I think you'll find out what I mean.
I have travelled far, Owen, and I have lived, in a sense, 1,000 of your mortal lives. There is always those who are good of heart, from any origin. Whatever you fear of the drow, I do not think you need concern yourself with evil from the heart of Lady Lael.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Nor do I need concern myself with evil from your heart. You two are kindred in that regard.
It's just nice to know, with all this death, all this murder, it's nice to know that there's still good people.
There is always good in the world, child. Dolores' light will shine upon those who follow in her footsteps, even if they may not know her.
Owen just sort of nods silently and cracks on.
Takes you guys another hour or so, maybe, to finally finish the moving of the bodies over to the burial grounds, whereupon the local sheriff says a couple words to everyone about the sacrifice that these people have given and how the gods are watching over us. We just need to push on and stay strong together, and we can continue on in their honor. Everyone has been interred, and everyone starts to dissipate and move to their various locations with a feeling of just somberness across the entire crowd. You all also return, but to the city. At this point, Duvessa does hand Gideon a list of all of the names of the individuals who, whether they went missing or died, people that she can assume were affected by the visit of the gift, rather than those that may have fallen in the battle. The list is quite extensive. You have a quick glance over it, and it is over 50 names. Afterwards, after handing it to you, she does lead you towards the city, where she points out the little girl that you had seen the night before. And before letting you go to her, she does say to you, she points out, she's with family right now. She's with her grandmother. If you wish to go and speak to them, that's fine. I cannot stop you. I will not stop you. But I would plead, please. She's a child. She doesn't understand what's going on. if you were to go in there and talk about her family one more time, I don't know what's going to happen to her, whether or not it'll disrupt the quiet calm that she has right now with her grandmother. It may not be wise for her sake. I know it will matter a lot to you to have some solace or consolidation, but I believe she's better off right now without hearing more about her family.
She
Can I
gets
roll-
Lael to make an origami crane or something.
Can I roll insight against that, please?
Go ahead and roll insight. You look at Duvessa, you also look at the little girl. She seems to be happily playing with some little dolly on her grandmother's lap. It makes sense.
Gideon does seem to draw some sort of comfort from the sight, and he watches in silence for a moment, and then he looks to the sheriff. Do you have paper and a quill?
Yes, we do.
If you would bear with me a moment, I would write a message for her. Perhaps so when she's older or her family feels it's appropriate. If you would pass it to them, I would be grateful.
Will do. She waves over to someone, gets quill and paper out, hands it to you.
Okay, so Gideon writes down a little message. It's basically an apology for what's transpired. He feels that he can't do anything to change it, but the few things that he can do, he will. If the lady permits it, and when his task is complete, he will return to this city and to her side in the future. And for as long as she may live, he will work as a guardian. He will also take off his holy amulet, and he will pass this to the sheriff along with the letter. And just leave a little note at the bottom. This is a holy relic of Dolara. Keep it close to you in all your days, that she might watch over you and guide your steps. And if you find yourself in danger, call out to her, that she might shelter you with her wings. And he's just going to pass these two across.
Okay. She takes it, puts it in one of her pockets. She thanks you for everything that you've done. I'll make a note of that, because you may have just created a paladin. Who knows?
Cool.
I'm going to lean over to Gideon when he's no longer engaged and be like, are you going to treat everybody we save like that?
Sorry, I didn't realise Luke was there. I thought it was just me and Owen.
Oh, sorry. I thought that we were all there.
Everyone's. Well, at this point, you guys were off. You had left the group. No, because it was the funeral. You would have all been there. So yeah, Loic would have been close to earshot.
I don't have to say anything if you don't want it, though.
No, say whatever you're going to say. It's fine. I was under the impression it was just me and Owen. That's fine. So yeah, Gideon sort of turns and looks at you.
He lurks.
Child. Can you not feel sympathy for this, for what has happened? It's just the purest and most innocent of beings.
We have different beliefs, my friend. Regardless, I respect yours. I was just curious, because that may or may not be something to consider in the future.
He just gives a slow shake of his head, but doesn't really offer any comment to that.
Yes, Owen can have whittled a little wolf for the girl, but Owen will have received the same sort of message. We'll give it to her when it's time. I think now is a bad idea to you to give it to her.
Okay.
Right.
That's fine.
With everyone sufficiently depressed, what would you guys like to do? It's alright.
I want Wave to sing for us on our way back to the ship to lighten the mood.
He sings a jolly tune. I can't think of one right now, but he does sing a wonderful tune about the high seas, how they ebb and flow, peaceful but also raging at the same time. And it's just a nice melody to perk everyone up a little bit.
Aaron's going to hear this, and he'll be waiting on deck, watching everybody approach. He's specifically waiting for Gideon to approach.
Good morning, Sleeping Beauty, Leo calls out.
Morning. I think you got the better of me.
I'll say, good news. We're heading to Waterdeep.
You have to be kidding me. He's not going to know what to say to that.
Does Owen notice, or anybody else for that matter, notice Erin's reaction?
Erin, how obvious was your reaction to that?
Yeah, he was slightly perturbed. I think he was under the impression they were looking at... He didn't think he'd be going to Waterdeep that quickly. It wasn't on the agenda, but okay.
Yeah. You see that it lightly shocks him, but
And
Uh,
he may
I
not
add,
understand the... Yeah, go ahead.
I add, not immediately. I mean, soon, probably. But, I mean, it's now on our list of destinations to visit.
Good to know. Thanks, Taman.
Why is that good to know? What's wrong with Waterdeep?
Are they all on the ship yet, or are they kind of shouting up at me?
By now, you guys would have come onto the ship. During this whole time, the ship has not been, like this day in particular, has not been up in the air the entire time. It's a waste of energy. They've actually landed the ship onto the ground for you all for this day in particular. And
Okay.
so you get on the ship without any trouble.
While this is going on, Aaron will be offering his hand to Gideon to help him onto deck. Strangely, he'll look Gideon in the eye and he'll be like, I'm sorry, I need to apologize to you. I should not have lost my temper.
You're a mortal child. Your words are far more than mine. It's just not for the likes of you to apologise to the likes of me.
You're an important member of this crew, and that is why I lost my temper. Everybody, I don't want anybody to die here. I want to keep everybody safe, and you shouldn't put yourself down. You know, right to your own opinion and your beliefs.
He just gives you a nod. We are who we are, child.
I just want you to help me help you. I can't protect you if you're... I can't be as effective, and it worries me. But I don't want to perturb you. You're a solid warrior. I'm not taking anything from you. You fight well.
I understand your concern, child, but there is a different calling for the brethren. If it is a mortal life or a brethren's life, always we are to be the first. And when there is a child's life at stake, I could not stand by. If I was to die that day, so be it.
Your self-control is the same as my self-control when I was a temper with you. I can't have a go at that. But let's try to work as a team in the future.
I'll do as much as I can for you.
Pat him on the shoulder. That he would have heard. He's not ignoring Owen. Owen said something, and I was like, "Sorry, Owen. You had a question?"
Yeah. What's wrong with Waterdeep? Sounded like you didn't want to really go there.
It's not the town; it's the people in it.
Why do they stink?
Have you smelled camel? No, I don't think they stink.
At which point you do hear someone shout from underneath the deck. It's like, my bullets do pierce the deck if you're really going to continue.
He's going to thump.
So what's wrong? He sort of looks to the others, sort of inquiringly.
Well, you've asked him that question now 3 or 4 times. Between the lines, it seems like he doesn't really want to talk about it, or maybe he wants to talk about it at a different point. Point is that you're pressing him.
No, Owen, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm
just you were there, Owen. That's where my father resides.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. It's just a conversation I didn't think I was going to be having, or a situation it'll be coming up soon. I thought we'd be dealing with this, and then I was going to deal with that. It seems like everything might happen at once. So.
That's one of those things, isn't it? That there's never really a good time, right? No. Yeah.
It's fine. It happens when it happens. It's fine. Where are we off to?
Luskin.
Okay. even more trepidation to Luskin after that. It's one of those days. Shall we go and get the crew ready? Has everybody else got anything else to do? Did you guys find out anything today?
Yeah.
Where were you all night?
Oh, well, I went off to do work. Wizard work. I found the teleportation symbol to Bryn Shander and copied it down so we can get back here at any moment's notice. And then in addition to that, I sent out some information in order to get some later, which we may not even need it anymore. This morning we located, a lead at least, to Artisimber.
Okay.
Which is what Waterdeep is. So we're going to go contact a guy when we get there named Zelron Roaringhorn. We've met him before, actually, in Gauntlgrim.
Would Aaron know because he was one of the party members and he knew the other fellow people in there, he would have been on the list of names on that list, I imagine. Mm-hmm. In fact, what did I have on that guy?
Gambling debts. Huge gambling debts.
Yeah, he had gambling debts. That was his problem.
Yes. Yeah, I remember him.
So there was a letter left by Artus's son that stated that if we wanted to find Artus, he thinks the best lead is Roaringhorn. So we're going to go ask.
Isn't he the one that created your shield giant?
Mm-hmm.
Have we still got that?
Well, I don't know if he created it. I know that it was in his possession. No, we do not. The elves of the High Forest have been keeping it. I know exactly where it's at, though, and who has it. And they probably made some kind of shrine around it for its sacrifice against the Goristro. It's probably well taken care of.
I'm just curious. I don't know if you want to pick it up.
I can summon elementals now.
Okay,
don't even worry about it. I'm a powerhouse.
I was just thinking maybe
little prestidigitation.
I was just thinking maybe he could prepare that for you, but it's okay.
The resources aren't efficient enough. The spending of resources won't be efficient enough for me. I'm on the move. I'm already on to the next thing.
Just like that for you.
Maybe he'll have something better that we can win off him this time.
Yeah. I don't really like the guy, personally.
Well, I liked him very much.
I clear my throat real quick and I say, hey, were the giants that destroyed Bryn Shander, were they frost giants? Does anyone remember?
They were fire giants, weren't they? And then the frost giants were in Tribor? They were... Is that opposite?
That was opposite. It was frost giants here.
Okay.
So it was frost giants who destroyed Bryn Shander, is that right?
Yes, they were in search of the Ring of Winter. The note of Tribor is that fire giants destroyed it searching for something called the Vonindod. But
that's new information.
That is new information? Okay.
Yeah, we don't know that. Then. We don't know that.
I thought I'd given you that bit of information.
No.
Okay. So
I'm going to just suggest that it's possible that the frost giants that destroyed Bryn Shander may be associated with the frost giant who killed his son in the temple of the Allfather. So if we find Sirak, then we might be able to efficiently wrap two quests up in one, is what Carl would say, what Taylor would say would be.
We need to kill Blovak.
That's him.
Yeah.
So
now you guys didn't ask the Oracle where to find Logothicus, did you?
No.
We ran out of questions.
Well, we assumed we were picking... he wouldn't give us that information because that's what we have to get the thingies for. Isn't it?
No,
I thought he was giving us giant locations.
Yeah, I thought he was one of the giant leaders. Okay, Aaron's got a poker face.
Poker face.
So...
It says he did say, I'll check my notes, sorry, did say the tribe was close to the Sword Mountains.
Oh.
The spirit of the slain son.
Yeah,
that he doesn't know where his father was. He says...
Well, we could take a trip to Phandalin in an episode in the Sword Mountains. No?
But we're going to Luskan right now. Is where we're going.
Let's go.
So you give Brassic the information of where you want to go, and he immediately gets the ship fired up into the air and flying towards Luskan. Lael first, then
Now-
Loic.
Okay.
Sorry.
I want to let Loic go first.
Okay. Loic?
Just want to make sure that Brassic knows that before we get to Luskan, park way out of the way and come in quietly. Don't want
Okay.
anyone knowing we're here.
Since Luskan is a port city, he asks, should we dismount from the balloon and go in on boat? Like
That would-
on the sea.
Be my professional suggestion.
Okay.
Looks very exposed, practically helpless while we're in there. Is there land nearby? Sorry.
There's lots of land nearby Luskan.
In that case, I was going to press the idea that he should be let off sort of on the way, so he can take a look at the city. He's got the rune that Lael's get to him, so he can effectively scout in advance, see what he sees from a distance, and report back.
Okay. Before I answer that, Lael, what were you gonna...
Once we're travelling, I need to speak to my mother.
Okay, so while you're traveling.
Yeah.
Right. Brassic mentions to you that letting you off on land to go and scout ahead, and then also dismantling the balloon and riding into the city by sea is possible if you wish to do that, but it's a big waste of time.
Oh.
Just simply because you would go in to scout a city, then come back, and then he would take the ship into the water to go and just ride
so
the boat into the ports of the city.
So we're approaching seaside. From the seaside. Oh, right, okay. So
We're going to stay in the boat, as far as I understand it.
Mhm.
Like, the airship is simply going to deflate the balloon, and we will be on a galleon.
It's like a seaplane, except with a balloon.
A wig.
That's fine. Sorry, I thought we'd be... I'm getting the geography a little mixed up then.
So let me pull you guys over to the map to help you understand the geography of things. So, you are here in Bryn Shander. Now, you are flying towards Luskan.
Mm-hmm.
And Luskan is a port city. It's actually, as you can see, there is the sea, and then it turns into the Mirror River. Luskan is actually built up on the water between, like, across that river.
Ah, right, okay.
So you can approach it by land. That's perfectly fine, because road goes straight through it. And in fact, they have quite a bit of business because they block the only path across the river there. Or you could come into it by sea. And what he suggested, what Brassic suggested, is flying south straight down till you get to the sea, which would be halfway between Fireshare and Luskan, and then sailing into Luskan.
Okay, right. So to drop them off, they'd have to basically go here and then go outwards to here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, in that case, that's fine.
So he takes off and starts heading down. It's going to take a couple hours before he gets to the sea, but you are able to make it to Luskan in, well, it's mid-afternoon now at this point, so it will take overnight, and he says that you'll be in Luskan about midday the next day. In the meantime, Taman, do you have something?
Yes. Okay. Well, Lael, did you want to go first?
So I'm going to update my mother on what I did in Bryn Shander, such as the feeding, the killing of Gith, and then donating family money to supporting the rebuilding of Bryn Shander. I'm also going to tell her that I was told that I am welcome back anytime. However, I don't know if the sheriff knew if I was a drow or not. But our banners were everywhere, so we should be noticeable that way. I'm then going to tell her about how I'm travelling to Luskan to find out why the drow attacked there.
She says, be careful. Her reports do indicate that there is still a drow presence in the city. Whether for good or ill, she doesn't know, but her reports say that there are still drow in the city.
Okay. I'm going to tell her that I have absolutely no intention of going into the city myself unless it's absolutely necessary. Tell her I'm going to send the steward that she gave me.
Okay, cool. Anything else for that conversation?
Not with my mother, no.
Okay.
I will need to speak to Kellen at some point.
What would you like to say to Kellen?
Just instructions on what he needs to do and what he needs to find out. So he needs to find out how many drow attacked, where they attacked from, what they looked like, if there were any banners, dead bodies to investigate, see if anyone knew what they were looking for. So many!
Okay, I got down how many attacked.
Okay. How many attacked?
Yep.
Where they attacked from, what they looked like as a overcompassing.
Okay.
If anyone knows what they were looking for, if they were looking for anything in particular. And then maybe investigate that drow presence that my mum just told me about.
Okay.
I think that's everything.
Okay, cool. Then, Taman.
So during the flight, I would like to try to gather the party in a secluded area of the ship, as secluded as we can get from the rest of the crew. And if everyone is amiable to that, I say, okay, everyone, what do we make of our hosts on this ship?
Before we talk about this, can I throw up a Leoman's hut
Yes, you can.
to ensure that we remain in private?
Sorry, I was trying to say the same thing.
Cool.
We've done this before.
Everybody check yourself for game pieces.
Actually, now that you speak of it, Loic, do me a favour and roll a perception check for me.
Is this site-based?
Yes, it is. During the journey from this point, from Bryn Shander through towards the area that you're at now, before Taman starts and before you do the search, you notice a silvery globe floating in the air close to the helm of the ship.
We're being scryed on.
We're
Like,
being what?
legitimately, properly scryed on. If it's on me, by the way, they can't, because Nexus
It's
is not
not on
attached.
you.
Okay, good.
It's next to the helm of the ship. You can't really. All you can see is the silvery ball. You can't really tell what's being scryed, but you can, because of your true sight and your robe, you can see it.
Is there any way that I could trace it back? Would identify work like that? Or detect magic, perhaps?
Make an Arcana check.
Any kind of energy signature at all would be some kind of information.
Yeah, an engine signature. That's how we do it in Star Trek.
Okay.
Subspace particles.
Identify may be able to give you some indication of the origin of the caster.
Well, let's do that.
Okay. So you cast Identify.
I was just like, well, what's wrong?
I'm telling you, we're being scryed on.
Okay.
What on?
Scryed. How many times must I repeat myself?
Are you
I don't know,
gonna-
maybe until you start making sense.
Someone is watching us magically.
Thank you, Lil.
Yeah, why couldn't you say that?
Because you need to learn these terms if you're hanging out with me.
Yeah, well, maybe I'd learn better if you told me, eh?
I like watching you squirm.
So you reach out.
He's playful.
And very quick, because Identify requires touch, you reach for it and you cast Identify on it as quickly as you can, because the sphere will recognize that it's being touched. And the moment you do, it does disappear. But just before it's gone, you get a flicker of draconic energy.
Oh, okay. That may have just been Clouth.
We did assume that Cloud was scrying on us. He wouldn't have known where our location was to get the ship here in the first place, did we not?
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't anyone other than him.
Yeah, no, fair point.
Okay, that's not so bad.
It's Klaus' ship,
All right.
I imagine.
You can come back. You can come back.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
that goes by, and now Taemon's grabs you all. You set up Leoman's tiny hut to make sure that no one can get in, speak to you. Brassic looks a little confused when he notices, but then he'll come down, he'll see it, but he won't press anything. You see him step up towards the hut, look at it. You know he can't see into it. He just turns around and walks straight out. And he also makes sure that any and all other of the cultists also go up to the main deck.
Aaron, not knowing that, will be holding Black Razor the entire time to sense the movement on the ship.
So I'm sure you're all wondering why I've gathered you here. What do you guys think of our hosts on the ship? I am conflicted as they serve the evil red dragon Klauth. I have a suspicion that obviously they're going to work in his interests, and his interests may not always align with our interests. So I feel like we should take proactive steps at mitigating their influence.
What, like kill them all?
That is an option.
I haven't told all of you this. I've told Gamel, but I've encountered these cultists before. There was a green dragon. This is where I got my armor plate from. The only dragon I've ever fought. It was a young one and terrible.
They were serving it?
You
They were
fought it?
worshipping it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, but they were the same kind of cultists, same uniform?
They summoned it there. It was near Thunder Tree. You should know this, Owen. I believe this is close to you as well as me. This is just east of Neverwinter.
I've only heard stories about dragons from there. You actually battled one.
I killed
We're
one.
friends with one.
Yes, and I'd like to remind you that that friend is also a red dragon.
I'd say that he grew up in different circumstances. So
Owen's actually just got an impressed look of boyish awe on his face, looking at Aaron now.
But the green dragon isn't impressive. I won't tell you the stuff that happened in the Underdark, Owen. Anyway, these cultists attacked us on sight for just being in the presence. They summoned it there for malicious means. They had a cult book. The party I was with, we couldn't read it. It was draconic, and I no longer have a copy of it. But they didn't seem people to trust. I haven't really trusted these people. They do serve the dragon, and whatever. If we decide to take a course that isn't in their interests, they may turn on us instantly.
I believe that we've all been kind of thinking in the back of our heads since we boarded that this ship is eventually going to get taken by us.
Am
I alone?
okay.
No, I don't think you're alone. I've been,
thank
me and Gamel have both been trying to make sure we can learn some things and have a rudimentary.
Same.
So considering that the dragon keeps an eye on the ship, Loic, do you know, is the dragon scrying on the ship or on a person on the ship?
I couldn't tell.
Look,
He saw me as soon as I saw him.
question,
The only thing I could grab was the draconic energy signature.
a question for you about scrying. Taking this ship is going to be easy. I don't think the crew can offer that much resistance. What I'm worried about is what happens after. If we're being scryed upon, if Klauth is going to send another dragon, and if we can't really man this efficiently, this is going to be a death trap for us, even though it's an efficient means of travel.
Right, yeah. It would be nice if we didn't have to make enemies of Klauth directly, but if we
No.
could somehow...
No, but if they attack us and we defend ourselves, we're still going to get some sort of retribution. If it ends up in that situation, we're going to receive a retribution. Yeah?
I don't intend to let it get to a point where they attack first.
I would like to interject. If you are suggesting that we attack these people first, I will take no part in this battle and I will leave.
Yeah, I mean, what are we, pirates?
I cannot
Oh.
have someone else hunting my family and making large enemies. Didn't you say, Loic, that this is a very old, very powerful dragon? I would
Yep.
very much not like... I already have a demon goddess on my back.
I understand. Knowing what your enemy is, though, they have different strengths and weaknesses. For instance, in this case, a ancient dragon, the way that they stay alive for so long is often, hibernating in caves and never leaving them, and leaving the safety of their lairs. So in that, we could have an advantage by, say, caving the mountain down around him or something like that. So it just depends on what you want the end result to be.
Yeah,
We're
but
not
you know
sure
what?
what forces he has at his disposal, though, Loic. It might not be him. It might be another
Right.
lower dragon. It might be a bunch of wyverns or anything that runs under his command.
Yeah,
My question, what I'm curious about is scrying. If we change the name of the ship, does that make a difference?
No. It's his familiarity to it that connects him.
Well, I just can't believe we're actually talking about just attacking and murdering people for no good reason. You're just assuming all this.
Well, it's not no good reason, and we're not going to act on these things. We're talking about them right now.
I'm not for proactively slaughtering these people. They are helping us, and that's not in my nature either. I am talking about defending ourselves in the unlikely event they may attack us, Owen. That's preparation.
And if they do attack us, then I will not leave, and I will defend you all.
Well, all this sort of goes without saying, then.
Well, the reason I brought this conversation up now, and Owen, you're the one who suggested killing these folks to begin with. The reason I'm bringing it up now is because we're headed towards Lascan, which is renowned as the city of sails. If we wanted to replace this crew with another crew, that would be the place to pick up a new crew. If the dragon is scrying on the ship, we could acquire this current crew's uniforms and give them to our new crew. Our new crew would, of course, hopefully be loyal to us. How we manage that transition is the discussion I was hoping that we would have, if we wanted to make that transition, and how we would go about that transition. But this presents an opportunity for us to find a new crew.
You're making an assumption that the scrying is the only means of communication between Cloud and the ship.
It is an assumption. I did ask when we boarded the ship, I asked the captain how he communicates, and the captain said that he does not, but that Clouth sees all. The fact that we know that Clouth is scrying is, I think, an indication that he was being truthful, that they don't maintain communication, that they merely rely on Clouth's all-seeing, scrying eye.
What if we change the ship?
Like how?
I had a wedding present.
Do you pull out your wedding present?
Yeah, I take it out of the bag holding.
Everyone else sees him pull out a small little box. It's rectangular in shape, about a foot or so tall, and those that are immediately next to Aaron get a sense of magical energy off of it that is somewhat similar to the Dan's instant fortress that you guys have.
Yeah, it's basically the same as the fortress. This can unfold into a small runabout or a large galleon, but it will retain anything you put on it. We could salvage some of the parts from this ship and retrofit that one. It might take some time, but it will stop them scrying on us.
We could absolutely build our own airship. I know how this works.
How will we control the elementals?
There are a couple ideas that I've had for that because I've been toying around with the ideas, but we'd have to get the long saddle first.
I'm very for building our own ship.
It'd take time.
So just to clarify, Aaron, you have a pocket chip.
It's a pocket ship.
Who gave
Pretty
you
neat.
that?
I think it was a joint gift. It was kind of anonymous.
I think I need to get married.
For those that are interested, when it comes to the wedding that I had planned for Aaron, I gave him 3 price ranges that he could set up for the wedding. And if he was willing to fork over the money for the different price ranges, that also determined the range of gifts that were received. Because, of course, if you go to a cheap wedding, you're not going to buy an expensive gift.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Just say it was an
Don't get
expensive
any
wedding.
ideas.
Start saving my gold.
Okay, so all right, so let's consider that plan, which has a lot of benefits to it over the replacing of this crew plan, but it has its own unique challenges. That in setting up the balloon, trapping a fire elemental to give it lift, and trapping an air elemental to give it push.
Which is one and the same
Right.
challenge.
Look, what ideas did you have regarding that?
All we need would be a spell of permanency, some kind of engagement. I can summon the elementals just fine. The problem will be to keep them, and I believe that the Harples of Longsaddle may be able to equip us with such things.
If you summon an elemental, how long does it stay on this plane?
Without any other influence, I think it's an hour?
Yep.
Well, that would be suboptimal, I think, because then
Well, yeah,
you'd have
the
to keep
point
on
of the
summoning them.
the point of the cage would be to keep it there, though. It would be a trap, an enclosure, permanent enclosure.
And then we just poke him with a stick to make him go faster.
Or feed him. Be nice.
What about the balloon? You can see Owen's quite enthusiastic about the idea of building this airship.
I may know a place in Silvery Moon that will be able to whip that up for us.
If it's a question of hides or such, I mean, I can hunt and get some skins together. We might be able to find the rest.
You need something that doesn't have any air will flow too easily through skins.
Or we could just take the current in.
Is that better?
It's kind of what I was suggesting is if we have to kill this crew, if it comes to that, I'm not saying we do this proactively, Owen, but if it comes to that, we could retrofit, we could take all the parts, we don't even have to summon the elementals. If we can keep the enclosures intact, we can just move it all over onto the new ship and retrofit it. It would be a lot faster. And then he can't scry on my ship, it's a different ship.
What about
scrying on the balloon?
He's sort of like, he looks to the more magically to Loic, and I said, you guys can do that teleport business, right?
To an extent.
It takes time.
I'm just wondering, if we cut the balloon free from this ship, is there any way of moving it quickly? Let's say if we lured the crew out, we could take whatever we needed.
I'm confused.
Same.
What holds the balloon in place on this ship?
Ropes.
Ropes. So, what's to stop us cutting the ropes and getting the balloon together? Can we move it?
Well, they're going to take it down. So I would think, yeah.
That's even better.
But I think someone said, what's to stop Clouth from scrying on the balloon?
Well, hopefully he will think, if he can't successfully scry on the ship, hopefully he will think it's been destroyed. And he won't make an attempt on the balloon itself.
I don't like the idea of stealing.
We'll just borrow it. We can always give it back.
Technically, if we're taking over this ship, then we're kind of stealing it already. Yeah.
I already said that I don't like the idea of taking over the ship, unless we're attacked first. Then we have every reason to defend ourselves.
That's what I mean. I don't mean. I said it again. I'm not proactively saying we should slaughter these people off the cuff just because we think they might attack us. However, if we take the ship is ours. What I'm trying to say is we take parts of it and retrofit it to my ship. Hopefully he can't scry on that. If he can as a temporary measure, then we can get a more permanent fixture on them.
It's a lot of time for something that is hoped, but
it's going to take just as much time to even to build it.
I don't know what's going to be quicker, taking parts from here or not. And there's a certain risk, but you're the expert on this, Loic. I don't know if he's going to be familiar with scrying on the balloon itself, or if he's just scrying on the ship.
If I were him, I would try, at least. It depends on what he's scrying on right now, if it's the ship, or it could be somebody, like Brassic. He could be scrying on Brassic, for all we know.
Well,
we can assume it's actually... Well, the orb that you saw was around the helm, it wasn't around Brassic. Doesn't that, from me using the mirror, it it focuses on the location of the thing it's scrying on. You'd assume it would be the ship itself if it's on by the steering wheel.
I don't know.
Actually going to look at his map notes, and he says, "Are we going to spend more time building the ship than we are actually travelling?"
That's my fear. That's why I'm saying we should take over the thing. I'm just offering a suggestion, maybe in the future, or maybe something we can.
Well,
maybe
look,
if we're going to Longsaddle or Silvery Moon, I can leave the ship there and have it constructed while we're moving around. We've got a secondary vessel.
Well, look.
You've got the teleportation circle to Silvery Moon. Is that not correct?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, in theory, if we drop this off, get it, pay for it to be retrofitted, and we can get on the move. If we have to abandon the ship, we can just teleport straight to Silvery Moon and pick up the other one.
So what I'm hearing for the present moment is that we're not likely going to cast this crew off in order to get a new crew in Luskan. So far, it seems like we are completely uninfatuated with that idea. Is that what I'm picking up?
Yeah.
I don't think we could do it without the dragon knowing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should sit on this and think about it for a couple more days, since we know that we're not pressed for time in finding a new crew or anything. And then we can think about it. I'll come back to you guys with things that I've considered designs and possible problems we might have for stripping this ship and retrofitting it.
Okay.
For what it's worth, we can reach quite a few places just by boat, by itself, whether it's down the river or down the coast.
I think a lot of the places now are inland, aren't they? On the map for our locations. What's our next one after Luskan? You want to visit?
Well, he just sort of traces the. Yeah, he just sort of traces the thing. It's a Mirabar, Neverwinter. There's a few rivers that reach further inland. Not everywhere, but it's well, he didn't say anything, but he's sort of figuring it out.
After Luskan, we're headed to Morgar's Mound, and then Longsaddle, and then likely down through Tribor and to Waterdeep before heading back off towards the east.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to discuss. So it sounds like we are agreed that we don't necessarily trust the crew, but there's not anything we're going to do about it at the present.
So, that in mind, let's just be prepared. Should we be keeping watches? I've been proactively making sure that, like, Razor is alerting me if any of the crew step in on us, for instance.
Me and Aloust have been sleeping in shifts.
When I sleep, my eyes are open.
So really bad.
I'm not really concerned about our safety yet. They haven't expressed any hostility towards us, but they might be interested in acquiring the relics that we've been gathering.
Yeah.
Are all of those in the bag of holding, or are they not all in the bag of holding?
I think that the giant shield and the giant bone is just chilling in the
Hold.
ship. Yeah.
It's too big for the bag of holding.
Yeah, some objects are too big.
I wonder if we maybe suggest to him about dropping these off with Harshnag. See how they react to relinquishing them.
A good test. But it could go terribly wrong, and they could try to take everything from us right now.
If they do that, then, well, I've got no problem fighting them.
Let's do that at Longsaddle. At least we have allies at Longsaddle. Or
Right.
friendly folk, at least.
Well,
and we
like-
can test them and see what their reaction is.
well, you were right then. Maybe we can prepare. At least it'll be on our terms.
So just to throw one more wrench in there, if we test them and they fail, then we'll want to replace the crew. And if we're in Longsaddle, our odds of finding a crew are very, very slim. Not that we couldn't fly it ourselves, but, as adventurers, this kind of thing is beneath us to, pilot a ship.
I don't know. You might be surprised. From what I know of Longsaddle, they're up for most things. So if you brought them a shiny machine like this and they haven't seen anything before, they would probably, a couple of them would express interest, I'm sure, enough to get us to the next place, if that was a concern. That might not be a good idea. The Harples of Longsaddle are kind of chaotic too.
So I'm suggesting that maybe it would be best to test them either near Luskin or now. Maybe not where we're in the sky, because they probably have an advantage fighting in the sky, as they've practiced for it. So maybe when we land, we can make the suggestion that we should make a quick trip back to the Temple of the Allfather and see what they say.
If that's the case, then the dragon will know what we're up to. I suppose it can't be helped.
I have to say, I've got some proficiency in sailing vessels since I was given this. I kind of took some lessons. Never really navigated anything this big.
Is the Trident with us, by the way?
Yeah.
Is he there?
He's there, he's listening.
He's going to say, Wave, could you give us any tips?
Wave, do you want to captain the boat?
In the right hands, I could sail the ship anywhere.
Sorted.
There's our captain.
We've got the giant fork as a captain. That's great.
We are a strange
Brilliant.
bunch.
Okay, so when we land, we'll give them the test. Does that sound like a plan?
We don't know what we're going to find in Luskin.
Pirates.
We don't know.
So, if you're worried about
We
being
don't know-
stranded,
We don't know how bad the city is off the attack. There may not be that many sailors in port.
That's a good
Or
point.
there might be lots of sailors in port without a ship.
But making the test is going to put us into a situation that we don't want to be in yet.
should we do it right before we leave then?
Yes.
Maybe we should make some inquiries in town to see if we've got anybody that can actually crew an airship. These guys that are sailors, they may not have any idea how to crew something that flies in the sky as well.
We would need an
Well, we could teach them that.
If you let the pirates of Luskin know that we have an airship, they're going to try to take it.
These are all valid points.
I don't think Luskin is a good idea. Let's go to another port that's a little bit more reliable. Like, there's a couple of ports near Waterdeep.
We could head to Neverwinter and try it there.
Neverwinter's a bit dodgy as well, so is Skullport.
But I know people in Neverwinter. I have connections there. I have a friend who taught me in the port itself how to run this boat. I know. We can find people.
Okay,
I don't necessarily trust Luskin.
Okay, so not Luskin, Neverwinter. We agreed. Say aye.
Yeah.
Wait, so
But-
we're not going to Luskin?
We are going
We are
to
going
Luskin.
to Luskin.
We're just not going
I
to get
got it.
sailors from there.
We're just going to have
Okay.
to.
That's fine. Okay,
Let's to kind of delays Longsaddle for a little longer if we're going to do this. So
that's all right.
Well, that's only if they fail the
Yeah.
test.
I'm going to get to Longsaddle, and I'm going to continue my journey regardless.
we
I know
need
that
to,
I am.
we need to have a reason to go to Neverwinter if we're going to do this. A proper reason for going to Neverwinter to make it acceptable to the crew.
Well, if they fail the test on our way out of Luskin, then we can put your skills to the test at
And
navigating the sea vessel from Luskin to Neverwinter.
Okay, as long as Yell can help me, I think it might be okay.
Aye, aye, Captain.
What do you reckon, Gideon?
Given that I've just been sat listening to most of this in silence, you're mortals, child. Your decisions are your own.
Don't even have an opinion?
My man!
What's a cop out?
He was going to continue.
And with that mic drop, I'm just going to say the ship begins to drop down as if it's descending towards sea level. And over the course of the next couple minutes, it drops and settles quite neatly into the water. You hear the sounds of the cultists working up above the deck. Probably you can assume that they're tearing down the balloon and stowing it away somewhere.
I would like to be watching this.
Okay. You are able to watch it. They've got no problem with you guys aware of the whole situation. It's almost the same thing as tying up sails on a ship, except once they've gathered it all together, they stow it in underneath the helm. There's an area that they managed to fit it all in under. While the ship is no longer using the balloon, you notice that they do secure the burner and the fire elemental a little extra secure. at this point. There's a few more switches that they make to ensure that the elemental doesn't get out of hand or anything while it's trapped completely. But it doesn't take long. They're actually very proficient at tearing it down and putting it away. The winds pick up immediately and start pulling. It would seem that the winds are pulling the ship. However, there are no physical sails on this ship. It's actually being pushed by the force of the air elemental, still trapped underneath the deck. And it flows along the water quite fast. It's quite impressive, the speed that it's heading at. But as you travel along the sea, with the coast still in view, you all notice that the further south you head, closer towards Luskan, the thinner and thinner the snow caps, and the snow becomes, eventually turning into green, lush fields just on the coast. You've got a couple hours before you arrive at Luskan, in the next day, by the way. Is there anything you guys are doing as you approach Luskan?
Owen's just going to be up on the crow's nest.
Okay, there is no more crow's nest now that the balloon has been taken down.
Oh, really? So no crow's nest. I suppose with that we're having sails, it doesn't really have masts, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Ah, okay then. Well, he's going to be just at the front of the ship, just keeping an eye out, watching for signs of trouble, basically, along the coast.
Would Gideon have had a long rest by this point? Recovered his exhaustion as well?
Yes, you would have. So you're fine by that. And everyone has had a long rest. Everyone's recuperated. Everyone should be at max everything by the time they arrive, in the morning. Okay, so you're all sailing along the seas towards Luskan. And as Taman mentioned, it is also known as the City of Sails. Now, the City of Sails often conjures romantic images of a magnificent port metropolis, majestic merchant galleons with bright sails everywhere, dashing swashbucklers who greet their enemies with a playful wink and the tip of a hat. It's got this image that's very pleasant and fun fantasy, pirate theme. In reality, Luskan is anything but that. It's dirty, filthy, and as you approach, the whole area just appears to be covered in a thick fog, a thick black kind of fog that doesn't appear to be as much from natural causes as it is just the uncleanliness of the area. Rising above the fog, you can see is an enormous tall tower which breaks up into various branches and thinner spires towards the top. Those that may know of Luskan previously know this to be the host tower of the Arcane, which is one of Luskan's primary defenses, is a group of wizards that pretty much guard the land. As you approach, however, when you're coming along the water's edge, you do see that something that's kind of leading towards and causing some of this black smoke is a ship, a huge, great ship, just outside the harbour that is just billowing with black smoke. Obviously, having just recently been destroyed by fire, this ship is still sailing, still floating, but is just spewing smoke out into the air. As you get closer to it, you kind of get the idea that a great ship, for you guys, like a human's great ship, is pretty big. But the scale of this thing would suggest this is a giant's great ship. It is an enormous, huge ship that is out in the harbour. But you approach the city and you're able to dock the ship into the docks, which are known as the Dragon Breach. That's where the ship heads to. When you get there, you get off the ship, you kind of see the city a little bit clearer now. And if you didn't know that it was recently attacked by drow, you wouldn't have suspected such. Everyone that's walking around seems to be having a great time. There's a lot of drunk people walking past you and past the docks, just having a wonderful afternoon. And though some houses do appear to be broken and torn down to some degree. It seems more a case of it's just happened over wear and tear over time rather than a recent attack. But you pull up into the docks. No one's there to greet you. No one really takes... There are people that seem to take note of the ship arriving, especially a ship without sails, but no one kind of approaches you or stops you. What would you guys like to do here in Luskan? Lael.
Everyone departs. Lael offers her saddle for someone to take. She says, "Me and Alust are going to stay on the ship. We don't think it's a good idea that we're walking around here. But if you have need of me, Owen has my room. Just call me and I'll teleport to this."
Aaron will take so.
Perhaps the saddle would be better suited up on a mount.
I can be a mount.
Would
can
my
summon-
exotic saddle fit on a bear?
Yes, of course it would.
Excellent. Would a bear be considered an exotic mount?
It would.
Excellent.
I'll loosely tie it around my back. Just in case.
I feel like I might
Okay.
need to teleport with my lance. Charge.
So you strap this big old saddle, and when you put it on, Aaron, it does feel a bit big, but thinking to your bear form, which you have experienced before, you do get the sense that this saddle would fit perfectly if you were in bear form.
I ask, do we want to try and liquidate any of the more hard-to-spend items that we've acquired in our few travels?
Yeah.
This would be a very good place to do that.
I was potentially going to suggest maybe we wait till long saddle again. I don't know. Is the trading good here? Are we going to get swindled?
Well, it depends on how good you are at bartering. These people can be, depending on who you find, master barters, but that you can also potentially get a much higher price here than you would be able to in Long Saddle. I can tell you that.
So we're after master barters. Yeah.
Master barters.
That's exactly right.
You got it.
Yeah, I imagine anywhere there's a thriving market, we will find the more thriving the market, the more conniving the merchants. So that's kind of a trade-off.
Aaron looks down at his attire. Obviously, he has a lot of weapons, magical weapons, and there's pieces on his person. Are we going to attract attention, unwanted attention, thieves' attention, walking around like this?
Probably.
Okay. Is it worth making ourselves less obvious?
I am going to walk in with my normal face, if that's any indicator. I'm not feeling particularly threatened, as long as you stay in public and kind of keep your hand on your stuff.
Aaron's going to take most of his magic weapons. He's going to put all of his magic weapons in the bag of holding. The only thing he's going to have is his armor and his cookery. It also works in combination with the bear. If I turn into a bear, it's all kind of there. So it's all thinking ahead. But if I need to call something, I'll be able to call it. And if anybody wants to put anything in the bag of holding, up to you. Or you can just go. And then I'm going to wrap my cloak around me and look very, very cloaky.
Okay.
I am interested in checking out the host tower of the Arcane, if anyone wants to follow me.
Well, we need to inquire about the drows.
Yes, Callan will do that. Just keep him safe for me.
Well, I'm going to go and see if I can find some of those shady folk that I was talking about. I don't think I'll have too much trouble here.
Does anyone volunteer to be our merchant, to represent our interests to the other merchants? I confess, I am not particularly persuasive myself, so I think we would be better off with someone else.
I wish Gamble was feeling better.
Still got a stomach bug. Kellen is remarkably silver-tongued.
Yes.
And he mentions to you all that if anyone could get a decent price out of these lot of ruffians, it would be him.
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Should we take the stuff, let Callan speak to whoever, and then let him on his way?
We should probably go with him to make sure he doesn't get manhandled.
Owen's going to sort of make to separate and says, "Come on, Gideon. I could do with a bit of backup, just in case."
As you wish, child. And he does fall into line behind you.
And he just sort of looks at him and his attire, and he just looks up like he's about to say something, but then he just sort of shrugs and carries on walking.
For reference, unless anything's changed, Gideon's outfit will still look pretty battered and bloodied.
Oh, right,
Any
okay.
clean-ups, so.
Yeah, oh, that's fine then, yeah. He just
So,
sort of...
Gideon and Owen split from the party and go their own way. Is that correct?
I'm just going to be following him.
Yeah. Okay, Owen's going to sort of seek out the dodgy thief-type looking types.
All right. After not looking very far, you step into a couple of the streets, and in particular, the area that you head into straight away is the area, if you guys happen to be looking at the map that Lael shared, is the Rat Alley. And you kind of get the idea that whereas Bryn Shander, there was no seedy folk ever, this place, you would be hard-pressed to find someone that doesn't seem to just teem with seediness. And everyone looks a little bit dodgy. So finding a locale that happens to be what you're looking for is not going to be hard at all. It just depends on what level of debauchery you're looking for.
Well, first I was just going to kind of glance at Gideon and say, like, I don't like this place. I tell you, it's a good thing you look like you come straight out of a fight. Look quite intimidating.
Perhaps that will be of use to us.
Bloody well hope so. And he sort of approaches somebody who sort of looks like a thief-type person. Yeah, so he means trouble. Let's try out the thieves' cant. It's like...
Okay. The person that you approach, now, bear in mind, Owen and Gideon are the only ones here doing this. Mm-hmm. Okay. The person that you approach is, at first, his physicality's hidden a little bit amongst shadow and amongst the clothing he's wearing. You see a fairly average-built, thin, slender individual dressed in all black. And he's leant up against the side of a tavern. And he lifts up the wide-brimmed hat that he's wearing. And with one eye covered in a eye patch and his skin completely black, you see him wink at you and beckon you over as you're speaking to him in Thieves' Cant.
Yeah, Owen just sort of goes up to him and sort of like casual, "All right, mate."
What brings you to Luskan?
Well, rumour has it there's a bunch of horse and plough around here. What do you know?
A bunch of what?
Horse and plough. You know, drow. For me, Thieves' Cant is Cockney rhyme.
Okay. So, you're talking to a drow, and you ask him, you say, rumour has it there are a lot of drow around here?
Is he a drow? Did you say it?
Black skin, individual.
Oh,
looks
sorry,
elven, but he is pretty obviously drow.
Oh, right. Oh, no, I didn't quite catch that. It was too subtle
okay.
for me.
I'll let you retcon that.
Okay. He says, like... Actually, that's all I had lined up, to be honest. Alright, we'll have to skip that part. Actually, can we go skip to the others for now? I think I need to prepare this a little more. You caught me off guard there.
Okay, no problem.
For reference, it was great. I love that.
I know, yeah. No, I'll give me a few minutes.
While Owen finds himself neck deep with Jarl Axel, what's everyone else doing? Loic, Taman, Aaron, and Kellen are headed into the city, following Kellen as he goes towards the market area with the intent of selling off some of the items that you have. There are lots of different people of selling all kinds of things, and you look at some of the stalls and quite a lot of the stuff looks like it should probably be very valuable, very rare items, which kind of gives you the idea some of it is probably fake. But Kellen finds a couple good merchants, and you're able to get a good deal. What are you selling?
I dropped a couple of things in chat.
Currently, we have 4 short swords, 4 hand crossbows, 1 light crossbow, 1 heavy crossbow, 1 light hammer, 1 quarterstaff, 7 sets of armor, a stone of good luck, which no one seems to have claimed.
I thought Owen claimed it.
Nice.
What's this? What's that, sorry? The
Stone of good luck.
It's
Oh,
pretty
did I have
useful.
that? Did I have that?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I didn't realise. It's not in me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not in me inventory. Okay, it is now.
Okay. A jeweled tiara worth 2,000 gold pieces. 7 gems worth roughly 1,300. A red ruby pendant. Amulet of proof against detection and location, which I think you've got at the moment. Yeah. Okay. A magic opal. Who's got that? No one?
No, that was
magic
the runic.
opal has actually been broken now.
Right,
this point.
okay. More jewels worth 100 gold pieces. And that's it.
We had been lugging around the weapons and armor in case we needed to arm a small group of unarmed people. Do we think that is still a possibility that we'll need to do?
Is that in
We
the
talking
bag of
about the-
holding, or is that in the fortress at the moment?
In the fortress.
Alright, okay, so I don't think actually recovering those are going to be doable in Luskin right now anyway.
Even if it was, I like them where they're at.
Yeah.
I like the idea of being prepared to arm a small army.
Well,
Okay.
on with that as well. I don't know who's logging that, but Gideon did have a piece of chainmail and a +1 chainmail on him. He'll probably have left those in the tower. He's got no use for him at the moment.
But they'll be in the tower. Alright, can I have Kellen roll a persuasion check?
We checked the red ruby pendant, right? It wasn't magical.
Yeah, it wasn't magical at all. Okay, so you all get to see Kellen in his prime, in what he does best for the first time ever, and he just happens to talk circles around these merchants. Very impressively so as well. Just going back and forth, and he manages to get a good price of 6,000 gold pieces for everything that you had listed to sell.
Nice.
Nice.
And he looks back rather pleased with himself as he hands you all the 6,000 gold pieces. And I'm sure he's got some witty remark about his job well done and how the lady should be compensated for his work.
You'll be getting a bonus, it's fine.
But yeah, so walking around Luskan, you all get the opportunity to see a lot of things. You see a lot of well-armed individuals and a lot of rough-looking people. In particular, you walk past a section just off to the side of the market area that now, in the midst of everything that's going on and what has recently happened, you see that they've turned an old pit into a fighting pit. And there are groups of people in there just decking it out completely. There are crowds cheering, having a wonderful time, and you look inside and there is one single drow fighting against a group of 5 human barbarians inside the pit as you're watching. And this drow is impressively skilled in just knocking back these barbarians just this way and that. So simple. But you get to glimpse and you see everything that's going on, and you realize the presence of drow is not scaring anyone in town. And you start seeing a couple more just mixed in amongst the crowd. There's a few more drow than you would have expected, having just heard that drow attacked the city. What would you guys like to do?
I'd asked Kellen how he wants us to present ourselves. If he's acting on orders from his lady, then I ask, how can we be most effective in helping you do your job?
Lael, do you want to take that? Since he's your NPC.
Sam's in charge.
Oh, am I?
Yeah?
I wasn't aware that we were going to be doing this session. I don't know enough about the character.
He's just super loyal, Irish, cheeky. Very good at selling
Great.
things and buying things.
He seems pretty jolly too.
And
like
he's jolly.
lighthearted.
Yeah, he's jolly and
optimistic.
jolly and lighthearted. That's all you need to know. He's not that deep.
Fair enough.
How can we help you do your job most effectively?
Well, perhaps we best be finding somebody in authority position. We're going to need to find out exactly why the drow are quite here. And I don't think we're going to get many answers in a gladiatorial bit.
Can I try something? Who's the best captain?
Everything stops. Everyone looks at you. And everyone just erupts in shouts of this name and that name. And you see one person turn to another. It's like, no, that's not it. And they just start decking one another. You've somehow managed to start a tavern brawl just outside the gladiatorial pits. And so shortly thereafter, you notice one or two individuals walking around taking bets on those little brawls that have just now started from you having asked. But the names that were shouted, there are so many names that were shouted at once, difficult to identify one particular one.
Oh,
Well-
brilliant. Well done. That answered the question wonderfully.
Well, it's one of them, obviously.
Can I
Didn't you
make
hear
a-
what they said?
Perception check. See if
I
I
couldn't
could-
hear over the sounds of the screaming
Go
and
ahead
the
and make
fist
a
to the
perception
face.
check. Amidst all of the other, a lot of names that you do hear shouted, something that is mentioned at least 3 or 4 times, so it kind of gives you an idea, is someone just briefly mentions the high captains. And you hear this term a couple times. They don't actually say, they say a bunch of little names that with them, but you keep hearing in amongst everything else, High Captain such and such, High Captain this. And those
Alright.
names are repeated. So
That's all I knew already. That's why I did it. It worked wonderfully. Otherwise,
So I take it there's little fights kicking off. Is the main fight still going on?
yeah, the main fight is still going on. Though by now the drow has knocked out quite a few of the barbarians, and it's just one-on-one left. It won't be long before he's dealt with the last one.
Alright, I kind of just want to mingle into the crowd with some common guy or, maybe a local rather than a sailor. And just go, Drow's pretty good. Bet on him?
I bet on him. Haven't seen a fighter like him in a while.
He's been here long?
Just came in a couple weeks ago.
Oh, on a ship?
No, the drow came in through the south gate. A couple of them came in at the same time. They been good for business since they arrived.
Get a
Who
lot
have
of
you
drow.
bet on?
Well, I think I've lost this one. I
Always bet on the underdog.
Or the Underdark.
He seems puzzled by that response.
Maybe.
Sure.
You get a lot of drow to hear?
Get a lot of heavy folk.
Well, fair enough. I had whispers that there was an attack here recently.
Yeah, I guess you could say there was an attack. Why are you asking?
Just heard rumours. Word spreads. People said drow attacked, and then I'm seeing drow fighting, and a lot of people not having a care, and everyone's getting around. Doesn't seem like there's been an attack at all.
Oh,
You know what rumours are like.
yeah. But Luskin wouldn't be Luskin if there isn't a big fight every once in a while.
Fair enough. So there was a fight there.
Oh yeah, there was quite a fight. But the Arcane Brotherhood made easy pickings of those folk.
Oh,
They came in and scared them off. They all, well, if I'd have known better, it seems like they weren't actually looking for Luskin.
okay. It was
Those drow came into the city and blew straight out. They headed, I think, out the south gate. That lot.
right.
Yeah.
So, the fighting was up by the tower then. The Arcane Brotherhood got it. pretty under control.
Seems so. You should have seen him earlier. Huge, giant ship comes into the city. All of a sudden, a torrent of fireballs just get launched from the tower. Ship gone in an instant.
Wow, sight to see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Shame it
damn.
happened so quickly, I wouldn't have been able to bet on it.
Aaron's going to just go. He's going to see that the Drow's probably won by now.
By now, Drow's won, yeah.
He's going to go that. Well, that's my bet. Anyway, I'll let you collect your winnings. Thanks.
Be sure to bet on the Drow next time.
Yeah, I think I've learned my lesson. Thanks, mate.
Yep.
And I'm just going to take one and back to the others and divulge. It looks like it was a small attack force. It's not as severe as we first thought. Arcane Tower seems to have dealt with them.
Heck yeah, they did.
Yeah,
It's very
one
good
big
of you to
file.
find that information out, lad. But are you quite surprised he talked to you so much? What with that saddle on your back? I could have expected a very different response from that.
Well, apparently they have a lot of weird folk come through. They're quite happy to deal with Drow. I don't think the guy with the saddle on his back's any different.
Having seen the lady and attended to her needs for quite some time, a guy with a saddle on his back is a wee bit different.
I'm just looking to sell it. That's going to be my excuse.
It's a very interesting way of advertising your wares. I'll have to make a note of it.
Kellen, would you like to report back to the lady that Drow appear to be freely walking the city and there appears to be no danger? Or do you still want us to find an authority figure to interview?
Well, if the Drow happen to have come and left by the south gate, perhaps we'd best go and investigate that. As far as contacting the lady goes, I would, but the wee lad's got the rune.
Yeah.
It'd be the easiest way of getting in touch, but do you have any plans to meet him anywhere?
I think we haven't made any ideas. Yeah, this doesn't make sense for me to carry the saddle at all. How far away from the docks are we?
You guys are up in the Market Square area, so it's not far from the docks at all. You could be back there within 30 minutes or so.
Are you guys going to the gate? Or are you going to the tower? I'll head back with the saddle and I'll go out.
If you ask the mistress to meet us by the south gate, I think that might be best.
I look at Aaron and I look at the arena and I look at Aaron and I look at the arena and I look at Aaron and I look at the arena. Is it really? You're no interest?
Not with a saddle on my back.
I don't know,
Well,
it'd be a good distraction.
I could hold the saddle. I mean, it looks like it's unarmed combat. That might not be to your strength, but
I'm not much for fisticuffs.
If only I was the
I think the
lady's
bear
squire
is.
and not the Randall. I could have rode on the back of that thing, I'm smart enough. I could have introduced him to the fine art of jousting.
I don't think we should. I don't think we should split up or split up any more than we have.
If we want, okay.
Yeah, let's head back to the ship to let Lael know that she shouldn't be in any danger, and then we can explore more if we want to.
We want to.
So in the meantime, Owen and Gideon, back to you guys. You stand in front of what looks to be some form of inn, by the look of it, and the drow stood outside, leant up against it, has addressed you and inquired as to what business you have in Luskan.
Owen just sort of, again, like take two, so he shrugs his shoulders a little bit and says, all right, mate, good bathing tub this, pub.
And you're doing this all in Thieves' Cant, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Thieves' Cant, the way it works is you are saying normal phrases, just kind of like Cockney rhyming slang, but your message takes a lot longer to share. So he responds in kind, but what he says is...
It's translated, yeah.
It's as good a place as any. What you looking for?
Well, me and my first mate, here we're after a proper tiddly-like drink.
He leans over and looks at the individual behind. So he's your first mate?
Oh, yeah, he's proper hard-like, you know?
Right. And what ship did you come in on?
looks to Gideon, and he just says like, "Come on, you're first, mate. I'm not captain."
Gideon just gives a very confused look. He's not understood a word of this conversation.
It's all in Thieves' Cant, and to him, it sounds like you guys are just talking about the weather and the area around here.
I'm sorry, child.
Yeah.
The drow individual stands up and he approaches you very calmly, looking very casual. You notice that he doesn't appear to be armed, and he reaches out to put his arm around your shoulder.
Well, he's. I assume Gideon's watching him carefully.
Yeah, Gideon's been keeping an eye on him this whole time.
Well, Owen's just sort of tries to act natural. You know, he says, yeah, a bit of a joke, like, you know. No, we're from the Lusty Maiden. You heard of it?
I think I heard rumours about something like a rusty maiden. Come on inside. I'll buy you a drink. We can talk about your ship and your voyage. It'll be good to hear.
Yeah, sounds good. Go on then,
so
first
still
mate.
with his arm around your shoulder, he leads you into this tavern, which is fairly dark. You look around, there's lots of individuals all around, all wearing various different kinds of leather armor and clothing. A couple people looking with eye patches, some without eye patches, but obviously no eye. A lot of rough-looking individuals. You see on one side there are people having an arm wrestle, another people are just asleep on the table, obviously having drunk away their signing bonus or whatever. Everyone seems to be having a great time doing whatever they want in this inn. And he leads you up towards the bar, calls over a bar wench, and orders 2 drinks for you. One for you, one for him. So, tell me a little bit more about your ship.
No idea how grateful I am to be on land, drinking real ale, you know? Not that piss they serve on board. But yeah, and he sort of starts to drink. We set in, just a few hours ago, you know?
Fair enough. Gideon, what are you doing while he's becoming all pally-pally with Owen?
Are they still talking in Thieves' Cant?
He's still talking to Owen in Thieves' Cant, so whether or not Owen is responding in Thieves' Cant is up to him.
Gideon's just going to be, I presume they're on bar stools, he's going to be sort of stood behind them. He's going to be in a very attentive, ready stance. Just keeping an eye on the situation, but clearly at a loss as to what to do with himself beyond that. He definitely doesn't look relaxed.
Your friend doesn't seem to be having a good time.
I don't mind him. He's just been out at sea too long, you know? Gets a bit itchy when he's not on the water. One of those types.
Who's the captain of your vessel? Is it you? You look like a strapping lad, probably been at the seas for a while.
No, not me. I only joined the crew a few months ago. Loving it so far, though. Got me right out of the farm I was working in. Tell you, he sort of drink next to the ale a little bit, and he says like, but yeah, I mean, I only heard stories about this place, the city. I mean, it's all right, isn't it?
It's a great city. It's a great city. Maybe I can give you a bit of advice about the city and how to deal with it.
Oh yeah, anything.
Be careful here. Know who you're dealing with before you start dealing with them. Because if it wasn't for your tentacled friend, I'd have killed you much sooner than now.
He sort of kind of freezes a little bit, and it's just like, hey?
Get out of this bar. Go join up with your crew. Be careful on your way, or you won't see your friends again. And as he's saying that, he's patting you on the chest, and you notice that as he pats you on the chest, there is a glint of something shiny just inside his sleeve.
Oh, and kind of freezes up a little bit, but then he's just sort of nods and gets up, and as he does so, he carefully reaches into his pouch and puts 5 coppers on the table. Thanks for the drink.
No worries. Say hi to Loic for me. And he gives you a wink.
Okay, and he just sort of turns around and taps Gideon on the arm as he walks past.
I'd like you both to make perception checks as you leave. You both notice that you are being watched as you leave, and as soon as you step out of the inn, you also see a couple people outside the inn that are watching you leave quite intently, waiting to see what you do.
Gideon's going to take a position directly behind Owen to try and block any line of fire towards him.
Owen's just kind of going to make his way back towards the port, and he just murmurs to Gideon, "Don't make any sudden moves, alright?"
I gather that did not go so well.
Just keep walking, keep acting natural. It'll be fine.
You're asking a spirit to act natural.
Yeah, whatever, just don't do anything out of the ordinary, alright? Nice and easy. Can he take out the rune without drawing too much attention?
Yes, you can.
Okay, and he sort of coughs a little bit into his hand, and he just quite very softly says into the rune, "We're on our way back."
Leo is alarmed, and she says, "What's wrong?"
Keep your voice down. This is just a little bit more complicated than we might have thought, that's all.
Righty, I'll wait here.
Has Loic come back yet?
What do you mean he's not with you?
No, look, we split up, me and Gideon. We went to go and ask, and remind me never to associate with the scum of this city again.
Find them immediately.
Right.
So the two of you go looking through the area and through the city, heading towards the port, by which point you would have found them. It's not hard to find an area where there's a lot of fighting going on, and just happens to be that your party are near the area where there is a lot of fighting going on. But this time, for once, your party aren't part of the combat.
How did that happen? Nobody knows.
Owen just kind of like gives a confused look towards where the fighting's going on. He's just saying like, "What's that all about?"
Nobody knows.
John can say this, my friend. John can say this. Did you find out anything?
No, but I did bump into an interesting fella. He was definitely the creepiest guy I've ever seen. He was a drow.
Take offense to that.
Wore this big hat, he had an eye patch.
Do we all recognise that?
There aren't many drow that wear wide-brimmed hats, let alone drow that wear wide-brimmed hats and an eye patch. And Loic knows he has dealings in Luskan anyway, so yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Charlie!
Axel!
You know him?
Yeah.
We've
He's a
had
friend.
dealings. We said we went into Menzo Baronton. He got us in and out.
Really?
Well, let's not. We don't have to go into his business or anything. Just know that he's got our backs. He's had our backs in the past.
Certainly didn't
I like
sound
him.
like it. Certainly didn't sound like it to me.
Are you sure that's not just the way he sounds?
It
No,
sounded quite strange. I could barely understand a word he was saying.
Why did you end up talking to Jarl Axel?
Did you find him or did he find you?
I found him, I think, but I don't know. It's hard to say. He seemed to know that we all came together. He recognised you.
I'm flattered. He remembered me.
Yeah, he had a message for you. He said, Loic, you stink of manure.
That doesn't sound like him. He's usually more creative in his insults.
That's what he said.
I don't believe you. So if he's in town, then maybe I should...
Maybe that's a good source of information. Where was he?
Owen explains the route he took. Just be careful down there. A lot of eyes and ears. Not all of them friendly.
You can say the same for the whole town.
Yeah, well, it was different. Definitely different coming out than it was going in.
Should we go get Liel first before we go there?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, what about the drow attack? Did you find anything out?
It wasn't much of an attack, but maybe Jarlaxle being here, we can find out the details.
Yeah, well, good luck.
You don't sound like you had a good impression of him.
Did he scare you?
If by scare you mean threaten to kill me, yeah.
He's a big softie.
Mm-hmm.
Lael, what are you doing?
How much time has passed since I've spoken to Owen to them coming back?
About an hour, maybe.
Cool. I've changed
Okay.
into part of the scale mail part of my priestess outfit. No headdress or anything, just
Okay.
the tight, dark, revealing leather bit.
Of your priestess clothing?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thigh boots and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. With your scourge on your hip? Yep. Okay. So you guys get back to the ship in due course. Are able to relay to Lael the information that you have, especially the fact that not only is Jarlaxle present, but drow in the city is not a thing that's shocking to anyone.
This fills me with unease. Luskan was attacked. Jarlaxle is here. Or wasn't attacked. I don't know, this all seems very suspicious to me.
Yeah, well, looking at the state of the place, I don't even think you'd know it if it was attacked.
Good point. Shall we go see our feathered friend?
Yeah. Aaron's going to dump the saddle.
Okay, we want to catch up with Jarlaxle. We want to check out the south gate. Is that what I heard before? Yeah.
If the reason for checking out the South Gate was to find out about drow stuff, if we're going to see Jarlaxle, we might not need to go to the South Gate.
It's just that in the host tower then?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody
Think so.
curious about the big effing ship that's smoking in the port?
Well, it looks like a giant ship.
But can't we find out about that at the tower? Because
That would be the place for it, yeah.
A big fireball.
Well, Jarlaxle might have some info on that as well. It's worth asking. I'm just throwing it in there.
Bring your wallet.
By the way, Jarlaxle is a business contact, one that I plan to maintain for all of my years. I would appreciate it if you didn't tick him off. Or everybody. He doesn't take things personally. It doesn't seem like he does, but just don't,
I hadn't
you know,
planned to take him
attempt.
off.
Hmm?
As long as you've got something to offer Jarlaxle, he seems to be quite pleasant.
I have a couple things. He may or may not already have them, but we'll see.
If we've got enough gold if he wants, if the transaction's just information, we have enough gold for that.
Speaking of gold, Lael, Kellen performed admirably when selling off our wares. He is quite the silver-tongued fellow. We should bring him on all our trips.
Very well. I'm pleased to hear that.
Yeah, he deserves a bonus.
So he's going to see Jarlaxle?
Lael's going to insist that you leave the rune here on the ship, just in case, with Elise from Randall.
I don't really think Owen's that interested in going. It's shit him up a little bit.
So you're staying back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Owen's just gonna take a breather. But who's gonna go see Jarlaxle?
Her.
Oh, everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah, he's not gonna go back there. But he does say, "I'm gonna stay here."
Keep an eye on Camel.
Could you give Jarlaxle a message from me?
Depends.
Leo, could you give him a message from me?
Depends.
Tell him to deliver his own bloody messages.
I might do that.
This is a very ironic message to deliver.
Have someone deliver your message to someone to say, hey, you should deliver your own messages.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? He'll know what it means.
All right. I'm going to assume that Lael will choose not to pass on that message. Yeah. Okay, so the rest of you, is Gideon going with them?
Yeah, he would do.
Okay, so the rest of you all leave the ship and head along the path that Owen had mentioned led towards Jarlaxle's position, or are you going to the host tower first?
I think we're doing Jarlaxle first, because he might have to do with the host tower.
Okay. So it doesn't take you long to find the area that Owen had mentioned, especially the fact that as you approach, you do all just get this sense of being watched. As you approach this particular part of town, you enter the same inn, and Gideon, it does not look the same as what it looked like a moment ago. When you were in it before, it was filled with people. Now there is no one in the inn. There is just Jarlaxle sat down at a table in the center of the inn with 5 chairs around it. Gideon, go ahead and make a perception check for me. Okay. You're not sure, but you swear his eye patch is on a different eye now.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Can Aaron subtly reach into the bag of holding and call for Black Razor?
you can do.
Not to draw it, just to have it peek out of the hat. Just the top to peek out of the bag, just so I could sense if anybody else is actually in the area.
Okay. You kind of grab hold of the hilt, and you sense a lot of people in the area. It's almost completely surrounded. There's probably about 40 different medium-sized individuals within 15 foot of you. You just can't see them.
Okay. He's going to nudge Loic. I can't express that we're not alone, but like I assume that Loic's the only other person. If they're invisible, he can see them.
Loic doesn't see any invisible individuals.
Being the smart guy that I am, though, I know Jarlaxle's not alone.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially when he's the only guy in the room. That's so overly obvious.
Okay. Well, Aaron's going to just keep his hand on the hilt the whole time.
You do get a sense that Black Razor is feeling pretty hungry.
It's only been a day and a half.
I know, but there are a lot of bodies around.
And you spoiled him with those Githyanki, I think.
I think he got extra plain munchies.
Oh, yeah. So he welcomes you all. He actually stands up from his chair, flips the hat down, bows, and then flips it back up, points to the chairs that are around the table, and invites you all to sit down.
I'm going to do the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator hand clasp with him. And I'll sit down.
That does not suit Loic one bit. I'll just say that right now.
Leo does not sit. She folds her arms and stands aside, glaring at him.
Yeah. Gideon understood as well. Just
is this in the corner?
You are right in the center of the tavern. There is a table right in the center. The bar is behind Jarlaxle. Obviously there's no one there, but it's a good 5 foot between him and the bar. And then it's a good 10 foot or so between the other side of the table and the doorway. But the table is a large round one with enough space for all of you to sit down around it comfortably.
I take a seat.
Yeah, I don't want to seem that imposing. I'll take a seat.
Well, good to see you all again. What brings you to this interesting city of mine?
We are between points on one of our world-saving quests. Little less imperative this time than last time. Giants. I'm sure you already know.
Yeah.
There's a giant ship smoking outside. Yeah. So how have you been holding up? I assume Luskin's not really taken any damage. Your operations are okay?
Operations are going well.
Good.
My friends are taking care of themselves.
Has anyone been to Silvery Moon since we spoke last?
Not yet. But don't worry.
I'm not there right now, so.
Yeah. You mentioned you're on a quest to save the world again. How does a quest to save the world bring you to Luskin?
Well, we were in Bryn Shander and we're headed towards Long Saddle. a couple of people have their own minor reasons. I came to see the host tower.
Okay. Would your travels to Longsettle take you via Gauntlgrim?
It's a little bit to our south, but it will be close. Is there something that I can do for you?
Well, are you in a transactional mood?
With you, always.
For reasons I will keep to myself, Gauntlgrim might need some help in the near future from individuals such as yourselves.
It's not the primordial. Oh, don't tell me it's the primordial. I don't know if we're equipped to handle that. I mean, maybe if you were with us.
The primordial isn't the problem. It's the target.
So what
If you were so inclined, there are some individuals that are making a play, and that play involves capturing said primordial. That capturing will cause me some problems with business.
No kidding.
But these same someones happen to be the same individuals who were using a certain young lady as leverage for information on Gauntlgrim.
No.
Insight check.
Go ahead and insight check that.
Lying sod. 24.
Okay. He's telling the truth, or at least it seems so. The family in question you've not dealt with yet, but they're making a play that will disturb the order within Menzo Baronzon, and I'd rather see it fail.
Whatever's good for you is good for me.
They will be infiltrating Gauntlgrim 2 weeks from now, and they will be making an attempt to capture the primordial. Obviously, this will ruin business in Gauntlgrim as well, so...
Yeah, do you want the dwarves to know, or keep it quiet?
Do you still have my coin on you?
I do. I'm not going to pull it out because I'm not going to show anyone where it is.
Give my coin to Bruner, and tell him a friend is looking after him. He'll know what it means.
All right. Will he understand the implications of the approaching onslaught? Okay, good. All right, yeah, that seems plenty doable. We can at least get something going and some means of defense and awareness. If Megara is removed from Gauntlgrim, then that's disastrous for the entire northwestern corridor. And I turn to Taman, and I look at Gideon, and I look at Lael, and I say, even if we have nothing to do with our friend here, this would behoove us to keep Megara where she is. You understand?
Aaron's going to feel left out. I think it's just kind of
In return for thwarting the plans of these individuals, how can I help?
I look to my comrades. Now's your time.
information.
Information is my business. That and a few other things. What can I do for you?
We had information that there was an attack.
Which attack?
There was a drow attack.
Ah, yes. A force of Baenray soldiers attacked the city very quietly, very quickly. They left their mark, though we have rebuilt. Everything seems to be back to normal as quickly as it was destroyed, but yes, they attacked the city.
Why?
They were looking for someone. I dare say they almost found him.
Who?
Almost. That is an expensive piece of information.
Lael rolls her eyes and nods her head. Name your price.
A dinner date with you, my lady.
No, you praise that
I didn't even hear that. What?
A dinner date with you, my lady, he says. Gives you another wink.
Fine.
Okay.
Aaron already knows the answer.
A certain Grumph Behenry.
Grumph was here.
No, I didn't know the answer.
Maybe. But that's who they were looking for.
Well, you said they almost found him, so Grumph was here.
Maybe.
And I guess Grumph isn't here anymore.
Grumph he's travelled a bit. Who can say where he is right now?
Well, as long as he's not with the Bane race.
Matron Mother Behenry doesn't know where he is. I can say that at least.
Okay, good.
If anyone's looking, Aaron's looking slightly relieved.
No, no one's looking at you.
Yeah,
No one knows what you did.
Loic knows what I did.
I know everything that Jarlaxle is saying right now.
Loic and Taman both know what I did because I told them afterwards. I don't think you were there, so
No, I wasn't. I left.
yeah.
The host tower of the Arcane, I thought that it was destroyed several years ago.
It was.
Who rebuilt it? Did you rebuild it?
It was in our best interest to have such a defense.
Are they accepting visitors?
They could be. They're an interesting bunch. They're as likely to kill you as they are to invite you into the tower, but you're welcome to give it a try.
You got any information that would allow me to have a foot in the door? Something that one of them likes, maybe.
Half elves
I don't
don't
mean
wear
it-
saddles in public.
Cause them any trouble. I just want to live around.
The Arcane Brotherhood are extremely power hungry. Almost as power hungry as yours truly. Business is business. If you can convince them to keep you alive, they'll keep you alive.
Well, I don't know who they are or what they want. So, how can I convince them of anything if I don't know what they want?
Anything of power. Anything that would give them an edge over lesser men. If you have something on you that is particularly powerful, they would be interested in studying it, or studying you in particular.
They can study me, as long as they put me back together in the end.
It's happened.
We had some things. You spoke of some battles.
Yes,
You mentioned more than one.
of course.
The ship out on port. The giant
Yes.
ship.
Fools. They came to Luskan in a ship, hoping to attack the city. Fools.
That's adorable.
I know. Even a ship as big as theirs didn't last very long. It wasn't long ago, actually. It was only 2 days ago. It's
What?
still smoking, though.
What kind of giants were they?
Frost giants.
Okay, whatever.
The ship has yet to be looted, though, if you're so inclined.
Yeah, they're running around looking for artifacts. They might have some.
Maybe.
Why haven't you guys gone in there to loot it?
I've got my people watching it, though it itself does not interest me. More interested in those that find it interesting.
I'd say I find it interesting.
And I find you interesting. Tell me, how is it to be a bear? Like, do you rub up against a tree when you get itchy, or is it just honeybees and bugs for dinner every day?
Drow are tasty. It's a wink.
Are we staying the night here, or are we gonna jet off as soon as possible? Do you think?
I'd like a bath.
Jarlaxle, would you mind if I came back here later? Hang out
You're
a little?
welcome to. Just a gift for you all. A ship without sails porting into a pirate bay is easily noticed.
Yes, but you don't know what it really is.
Maybe not. But some individuals who see a ship without sails might find it interesting.
Jarlaxle, there's only so much fabulous that we can squash down of ourselves. You know? We're going to be noticeable no matter where we are. But thank you.
You're welcome.
One more question. Where are you taking Lady Leal for her date?
We're going to have a moonlit stroll along the docks before having a wonderful meal at my own personal residence. If my lady would be interested.
We made a deal, but the wine and food better be good.
Trust me.
I'm so happy for you guys.
Shut up, Loic. She gives his chair a kick.
You were saying something about getting married. I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, he's a charming guy. He has my vote.
He could afford
Are
me.
you saying this out loud?
Yeah.
With him there?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My lady, it would improve my business to have such a wonderful head leading my people with me.
Speak to my mother, and she stumps out. And you can't.
Arrangements will be made.
Luckily, you can't see that she's like bright red in the face. Drow, don't blush.
That was worth seeing. Recommend you. Do you have any idea what these giants wanted before we leave? Did they make any headway into the city before the ship was destroyed? They attacked for a reason.
They blew into the port, rammed a couple of the long ships, sinking them, and then they were quickly destroyed. Don't really know what they were wanting. They didn't talk much. They screamed a lot, but they didn't talk much.
Fair enough. I suppose we're going to have to get our asses on the ship. Anything else, guys?
I think that's it. Well, Jarlaxle, thank you for your hospitality once again.
You're welcome. And
thanks for
you
taking care of our
friends,
buddy not long ago.
He was so cute.
And what did you say to him?
I just reminded him that being separated from a group is sometimes a bad idea in certain circles.
You made it sound like you straight up said you were just gonna stick a knife in his eye or something.
Oh, I was.
Oh, okay.
And he completely serious. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But
right.
I wanted to see what you guys were here for before I did so.
We appreciate that.
So Aaron's going to shift his seat up and start making his way out. But before he goes, he's going to turn around and go, "Can you tell your friends, I'm just feeling a little bit crowded, don't you, Axel? Just give us some space." And then walks out.
He ignores that. Okay. You all leave. You notice you are being watched as you leave, but you head back towards the city.
Lael, did you want to see?
Yep.
Did you want to see if they have bathing facilities here?
Back later tonight.
Okay.
I want to go see the market, but we can do that after as well. Should we go to that arcane tower?
What do we hope to get there, Loic?
I'm just looking around. I'm personally curious about its history and how it came to re-exist.
Okay. It might cost us something to get in. Do we have a magic item that we're willing to part with?
Do we have to part with it? I think they'd be quite interested to study more like Razor.
I'm sure that they will want to take whatever. If we give them something that power to look at, they might want to take it.
They might just be happy to look at it.
The words Jarlaxle used were power hungry. So I am leery of giving them something and hoping for its return.
Right,
So,
which is why, Wave, I wanted to ask you. Here we are in Luskan, in the city of sails, surrounded by seafarers. How would you feel about this place being your home? I told you that this is what I would do. I'd deliver you to a home.
This place feels right.
Okay.
Feels like I could have a wonderful adventure in the hands of a proper sailor.
I thought so too. We are also on the way to Waterdeep, but like you said, this place might have a little bit more adventure. Okay, so then I will present you, if that is all right, and we will see if they will take that and potentially remain allies with us in the future.
Is well not going to miss Wave and like crazy?
I'm sure they'll be together again one day.
So Whelm is still on the ship,
Sorry, I get Wave.
but
Go
Black
quickly.
Razor, if you want to ask his opinion of things, but Wave seems to be lost in the idea of sea voyages once again.
I got the feeling that like Black Razor likes the other two, so yeah, I'll draw him into that conversation.
So Black Razor shares that he likes the presence of his quote-unquote brothers nearby. He can't stand Wave, but he also doesn't want Wave to be lost to sea. But he can't stop him.
Okay. Well, he can say that out loud, can't he? So it's not.
Mhm. Can. And he does so. Well, to a degree. You are in a fairly busy city, so he doesn't say it too loud. But while Black Razor is saying this, Wave is just lost in his own thoughts. Loic, you get a sense of images that he's obviously dreaming about, effectively, of him riding an enormous wave, just crashing over boats, and just a wonderful time. He is lost in his own mind right now.
Fantastic.
I really like the idea of Wave being part of my ship, but
What can Wave do that I can't do?
sing.
You haven't even heard me.
Mumbling along with Wave. I have. It's Wave's decision.
Yeah, you don't really get to enslave a soul just because you want to add it to a collection.
Well,
We gotta set him free. If we love him, we gotta set him free.
Well, Erin kind of does. Just pointing out. He enslaves souls to the void. To the void.
That's kind of what we do. This package. But I just thought we had the ship. He might have been happy there. But if he's prefers to be with the proper crew, it's...
I knew since I first picked him up, he wouldn't be mine. No one here felt compelled to take him, so, give him to somebody who values him. Okay, decided.
So you heading over to the host tower now then?
Yeah.
Okay. So you make your way across the streets, going over the bridges, over the water, to find yourself at the host tower. Now, coming to it by foot, and the angle that you're at, especially with the setting sun, it's an interesting visage to behold. The tower, with its many branches at the top, almost looks like a hand grasping out into the sky. And just as the sun is beginning to set, it almost looks like the hand is ready to catch the sun at a certain moment before it passes. You see this beautiful, it's absolutely beautiful tower made out of red brick all the way up, and a beautiful gold door right at the front. You go knock on it, and it doesn't take long, but the door opens ever so slightly. You see a very tall, slender mage dressed in very colourful robes, hair slicked back, arms folded. What can I do for you?
Good evening. I'm Loic Guarlwood of Silvery Moon. These are my companions. As a fellow wizard who has been schooled in the arcane and having known about the Tower of the Arcane, as it is legend, I was hoping that you would allow me entrance so that I could revel in its glory and that of the Brotherhood. I've prepared a gift. However, I assume that you are not one of the cardinals.
I am a cardinal.
You are a cardinal. My apologies, sir. May I have your name?
My name is Yopesh.
I'm very sorry for assuming.
It's okay. And what gift do you bring? What do we get out of allowing you entrance to our sanctum?
Are the others here?
Upstairs.
And I'm gonna lean my head over and let him see the trident on my back in all of its glory, the tip sticking out, but I'm gonna keep me between him and it. It's sentient.
Well, And he puts his hand out expectantly.
If I give you what I have now, what is to keep you from closing the door on me?
Promise from one wizard to another. Our word is our bond.
Oh, an insight check that.
Go ahead.
Side check.
26. Nice.
Okay. You know, he's being a little tricky. He's obviously wants the weapon, and you've heard that turn of phrase before as a wizard, our word is our bond. It's commonly actually used in a sense of words have power, and if a wizard says something, particularly it sometimes happens to go through, but the manner in which it goes through isn't always pleasant for either party. So making a bond as such is always not so easily done. But yeah, he's lying to you.
You're lying. Look, I can be a good ally. You don't know what you have here, so at least give it time to figure it out before you go making enemies of us and stealing our stuff. I love this place. I love what it stands for. I love what you do. And in fact, without even knowing you, I love you. Give us a chance. Let us in,
check.
and let's see all the other cardinals. As soon as they are all in the room, then I will hand over the trident. Anyone want to help me?
I don't have anything with which to help you.
Critical fail.
What are we rolling?
Persuasion.
Loic is trying to persuade them to let him into the tower before giving over the item.
Okay.
Meeting the rest of the cardinals is, without question, no. You would have to give over the item before you can meet the rest of the cardinals. However, I will allow you in here, where we can discuss the transferal of such an item.
Can I insight to see if this guy is actually a cardinal?
Go ahead and insight check him. You're not quite sure what cardinal means in this sense, but he does seem very high to do. He seems very much like he considers himself better than everyone else here, which you could assume either means he's a wizard or a cardinal.
All wizards think they're better than everyone else.
So does Leo, so, you know.
So, come inside. Sit down. We can talk.
I'll take that olive branch.
Okay. So he invites you in. You can see that this place is absolutely magical everywhere. There are no stairs, but there are tensors, flying discs, just moving all about, up and down. You've got books and furniture that seems to be rearranging themselves regularly within this tower. And he walks over to one particular area and just goes to sit down without even looking. And before he falls, a chair moves beneath him.
I'm going to try doing that exact same thing.
And just before you fall, as you feel like you're falling, a couch slides underneath you and catches you.
Are there any defenses?
Make a perception check. You don't really see any defenses. What you do see is, as well as all the furniture that's going on, all around this room in particular are lots of sconces that have continual flames inside of them. And those sconces, they all look like a hand grasping onto a rod. And the flame appears to be coming out of the rod, but there's a lot of them lining the ceiling. So, you bring an item such as that. What do you want for it? I know you want to meet the cardinals, but you will not get that until you've given me the item. So, what can I do to get the item from you?
Can you tell me about the aftermath of Mount Hotnow and why this tower was resurrected?
The event of Mount Hotnow was, it left a hole for advantageous individuals to fill with friends. And the way he says friends there just immediately makes you think Jarl Axel. Even the way he turns the phrase just almost sounds like Jarl Axel himself saying it. With friends aiding us, we were able to set up shop. So, we rebuilt, we filled the void that was left behind, and power begets power.
That's fantastic. How long have you been with the Arcane Brotherhood, Yopesh?
Yopesh. About 2 or 3 years now. Fairly new to the position.
Well done.
Thank you. Now, I believe fair payment is due.
Sure. This is Wave. He is a sentient trident. He was created by storm giants. He will tell you what he's capable of. His passion is the sea, which is why I've promised to place him somewhere that is close to it. And once y'all have had your fun with it, give it to whoever you think can work for you best in that manner. I give this to you hoping that you will know me in the future as a friend.
He grabs hold of Wave, and his eyes just light up instantly. It's like, oh. Well, know this, Loic Quarreland. You are a friend of the Host Tower.
You humble
friend
me.
of the Brotherhood. He straps Wave to his back. Like, oh, this feels good.
Bye,
Right.
buddy. I hope you have fun.
Why don't you sing with Chi?
Maybe later. Now, you are welcome to meet with the Cardinals, should you wish. Right now, they're a little busy, so I would maybe come back another time.
I'll
But
make an
you-
appointment.
Okay, good.
Would you mind if I wandered the first floor and took a look at your library? I'm sure there's nothing in here that would be dangerous for me to be looking at.
You're welcome in here, as long as I'm here. And we're actually going to end the session there, guys. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that session.
That was cool.
Same time
Not bad
next
thing.
week.
Yeah, it's good, mate. Cheers.